In on this June 10th, the last day of school for our for our Hood River County School District Board of Directors meeting. It is 6:31. Welcome everybody. I'm so excited to see you all here, and thank you for making it on your last day. And the weather is finally nice too, so extra nice of you to come. Also, this is our last budget meeting, so we're having our budget hearing, so I'm going to just go ahead and gavel us into that as well. I will now open the budget hearing per ORS 294.453 to hear any citizens' testimony on the 26-27 approved budget. This public comment time is dedicated to the topic of the HRCSD approved budget. If you would like to make public comments for other topics, please use the regular form. As a reminder, the Hood River County School District Board of Directors request comments be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Speakers will state their name and county for the record. While the board does not respond to public comment following the meeting, the chair, vice chair, and superintendent will together determine if the superintendent may respond in a public way, a private way, or if the issue will be added to future board meetings or work session agendas. And I just looked, and I don't believe there's anybody on the sign-up sheet. So correct me if I'm wrong, nobody's here to report on the budget. Okay, then we will go ahead and move right into our regular meeting. We're going to start with any revisions to the agenda from Superintendent Newton.
Good evening, Madam Chair. We have a revised personnel report and extended field trip slides, as well as additional donations to accept.
Okay, so those came in, I think about 1:30, so if you haven't, just take a chance to check those over real quick, and there was a lot of changes to the thing that you said first. The personnel report.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, great. Okay, we'll go ahead and do your superintendent report, please.
All right. Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. I'd like to begin by thanking our student ambassadors this school year, ASB Student Body President Felipe Mendez and Vice President Room Baumhackel, for attending our school board meetings over the course of the school year and providing updates on the ongoing events at HRVHS. It takes a tremendous amount of effort to attend our evening board meetings while participating in athletics, clubs like Leos and FFA, while fulfilling your duties as leaders of the HRVHS student body. You have been outstanding ambassadors for the students at HRVHS. So I want to pause for a second with my notes here, and I just want us to recognize both Felipe and Rune. Felipe, I know that you were going on to Mount Hood Community College, and I think what I heard was dental hygiene that you're going to be focusing on. Is that correct?
Yeah, I am. I had other plans, but it just didn't work out financially, so I just had to go with the cheaper option.
And I also heard that you have a business on the side that you're also doing, correct?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. What is that?
So I'm going to run my own livestock company. I'm going to support the local 4-H and FFA members here in Hood River County and just other counties in Oregon. So, yeah.
Awesome. And then Rune, I hear you're going to Cal Poly. What is it that you're going to be studying?
That's correct. I'm going to be studying construction management in the fall, but I'm hoping to study a little bit of architecture and design as well.
All right. Well, again, I just want to thank you both. We have a few gifts for you tonight to say our thanks for everything that you guys have done this year, okay?
Thank you.
You also have some guests with you tonight. Felipe, would you mind introducing?
Yeah, so we have Isa. She got voted or elected as the ASB president. So.
I'm Isa Rivera.
And this is our ASB vice president, Nixie.
Hi, I'm Nixie.
Well, great. And I know we'll get to your envoy report in just a little bit, but I did want to take a minute for us just to recognize both of you, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to keep going here. So tonight we have Hood River City Manager Abigail Elder and Urban Renewal Administrator Will Norris, the city's Urban Renewal Administrator, here to present on a potential fall bond election. Before Will's presentation, I want to briefly highlight our strong partnership. The city does a lot to support our schools and students, and it's important to recognize that collaboration and coordination. Specifically, the city supports our Safe Routes to School programming to keep kids safe on their way to and from school. They provide rent and utility-free access to the firehouse on the heights of Hood River for our Community Works program. They provide consistent support to our city schools through the local police department. They participate in regular community partner meetings led by our school district to address critical issues like school attendance and strategic planning. And they bring valuable insight by having Abigail attend and support our monthly long-range facilities planning committee. We are grateful for your partnership and your ongoing support of our students and schools. Welcome, and thank you both for being here tonight. The past several weeks have been a testament to the hard work and resilience of our students, filled with celebrations of student achievement. At Hood River Valley High School, we honored these pathways to success through the Evening of Excellence, Scholarship Night, the AVID graduation, and the Migrant Education graduation. This culminated last Friday in a beautiful commencement ceremony for the HRVHS class of 2026. Our celebrations extended into this week as well. On Monday, we gathered to recognize several outstanding students from the Hood River Options Academy who completed their general education development certificates. Reaching this milestone takes dedication and self-discipline, and we are incredibly proud of their perseverance. Beyond high school graduation, important milestones have been occurring across our entire district. Families and staff have come together for promotions, moving students from preschool to kindergarten, from 5th to 6th grade, and 8th to 9th grade. These ceremonies do more than mark the end of a school year. They recognize our students' accomplishments as they transition from one school community to the next. These meaningful moments are the result of our community working together. I would like to extend my deepest appreciation to our educators, our support staff, and administrators for their outstanding efforts to recognize and honor our students' achievements. Thank you for ensuring our students feel seen, valued, and celebrated as they take the next steps onto their paths. As we close the 2025-26 school year, it is only fitting to take a moment to reflect on our collective journey over the past 10 months. While much of our energy this year went toward navigating another difficult budget cycle, it is equally important to acknowledge the ongoing commitment to student growth and success that continues to shine a bright light in our school district. When we collaborate with a shared vision and a strong plan to improve instruction, positive student outcomes are achieved. For example, our targeted commitment to improve student writing skills from kindergarten through 12th grade has demonstrated strong gains with our preliminary ELA outcomes on the Oregon State Achievement Assessment. While we won't have official numbers to report until early fall, the early data is a testament to our educators' hard work. We look forward to sharing these results with you in the fall. Our dual language programs at Mid-Valley Elementary and Weiss Middle School continue to thrive, providing vital cultural and linguistic bridges for our students and paving the way for our graduates to earn the prestigious Oregon State Seal of Biliteracy. 31 graduates received the Seal of Biliteracy this year. We continue to deepen our commitment to college and career readiness through the growth of our AVID frameworks, ensuring more students are equipped with the critical thinking and organizational skills necessary for post-secondary success. Recognizing that early childhood education is key to long-term academic success, we successfully secured 20 preschool promise slots, which will be used to open a preschool at Mid-Valley at the start of next school year, welcoming more of our youngest learners into safe, enriching, and foundational educational environments. As the board learned earlier this school year, we are taking steps to enhance career and technical education pathway opportunities while also continuing to work closely with the Columbia Gorge Community College to provide dual credit opportunities, allowing students to earn college credits as they prepare for the future workforce. Our elementary technology task force teams, K-5, accomplished vital work this year to ensure that the use of technology in our schools is purposeful, safe, and age-appropriate. While we will be recognizing our student athletes during our recognition and good news portion of this meeting, I want to provide a shout out to our Hood River Valley High School Chamber Singers Choir that competed in the OSAA State Choir Championships and earned 3rd place in performance and 5th place overall in the competition. This is the first state trophy choir has earned at HRVHS since 2022. Music teacher Peyton Swartout shared that this is an incredible accomplishment for a choir and our school, and he is so proud of the hard work these students have put in to achieve such an award. In addition, the Holt High School Theater Awards, which celebrates exceptional high school music theater across Oregon, has recognized both the drama and music department, along with several students who have been selected in many performing arts categories for this year's state awards. I am excited to share that senior Caden Tubbs just won the state title for Best Leading Male Actor in a Musical for his spectacular role in Mamma Mia. Two more of our talented students, Sophia Kjolker and Mac Yusui, were also celebrated as top 5 statewide finalists in the supporting roles category. HRVHS has also been nominated in the ensemble category in outstanding scenic design. Congrats to drama teacher Jennifer Graves, music teacher Peyton Swartout, and all of our incredible theater students. I also want to take a moment to congratulate our Hood River Valley High School speech and debate team for their phenomenal performance at the OSAA State Championships at Western Oregon University. Out of 55 schools and nearly 500 entries, 19 of our talented HRVHS students advanced to compete at the state level. Thanks to their collective hard work, the Eagles brought home the 4th place sweepstakes award for the 5A division. A few individual highlights deserve special recognition. Senior B. Carsley took 1st place in poetry, marking her 2nd state title and making her a rare consecutive 2-year state champion. Junior Everin Garrett successfully broke into Super Congress. Fatima Banuela Santillan was a finalist in poetry. Adriana Brink, dramatic interpretation. Tate Shays for radio, and the team of Skylar Nelson and Isaac Serrano, dual interpretation, all advanced to the semifinals in their respective events. Additionally, 4 of our seniors, B. Carsley, Adriana Brink, Fatima Banuela Santillan, and Sadie Henry, were honored with their prestigious 4-year award for competing at the state tournament every year of their high school career. We are thankful for the speech and debate coaches Ann McDonald and Christy Heck, and to our students who represented our Hood River community with pride and poise. Congratulations to the entire team and their coaches. These diverse extracurricular experiences, coupled with our athletic opportunities, allow our students to continue to excel, compete, and grow, which fosters leadership, teamwork, and school pride. None of these experiences and achievements I have shared in this message would be possible without the support of our community. Funding from our local option levy remains a critical lifeline during times of budget cuts, directly preserving the standard of excellence our families expect. It is what allows us to maintain lower class sizes, protect electives and CTE programming, and sustain the vital extracurricular activities that keep our students engaged and connected. While fiscal challenges require tough choices, they do not define our spirit or the quality of education we provide. I am incredibly proud of our students, our staff, and our school board and our community for keeping the focus exactly where it belongs, on the growth, well-being, and future of our children. Thank you for a remarkable school year. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Great.
Yeah, I know it was a long one, but there was a lot to cover there.
A lot of really good stuff to
Yep.
cover, which is a nice thing to hear.
Mhm.
Any questions or comments for Mr. Newton? I just want to thank you so much for pointing out all of the students that are just really at the top of what their activities that they're doing. It's really exciting. I know we have a lot of the athletes here today, and we'll look forward to celebrating these kids when they get back, and wishing those that are going on, thank you so much for representing us so well, and I hope that these lead to greater things for all of them, so it's really, really impressive. All right. Then we will move on to any board member reports.
So I attended the GED celebration for the students, and there was 11 students there. It was the first time that they'd had this celebration for the students, and it was really fun to go and see these kids get, some recognition too. So it was a lot of fun. So I was glad to be able to attend that this year.
I really appreciate you being there, Brandy. That's great. Anybody else? I got the opportunity to go to Avid graduation, which is always an incredible experience, and I just always am impressed with how I can cry, even though I don't understand a lot of what's being said when the kids start speaking to their families in Spanish. But it's really an amazing thing, and just year after year, I'm just blown away by the accomplishments. And I think it was like how many, $200 million that $300 million that those.
2.1 million.
$2.1 million in scholarships for that group. Pretty amazing, and a lot of that was from our community. So that's just, you can't say thank you enough you can't give enough gratitude to people for supporting all of our kids. Also, got a chance to go to the retirement reception for some of our staff that are leaving us after a lot of years, a lot of combined years for our staff. And now that my kids are done with college and halfway through college, a lot of the teachers and staff that were with them are all retiring now. And it was really neat and sad to see some people go, but man, they've earned it, and we wish them all the best of luck too. And then Dave and I got to be on stage on Friday, which is always the best part of the year. It's just so much fun to see kids that you've known since they were sometimes not even born. And then you get to shake their hand and watch them go into the next phase, and it makes it everything that you do really worth it. And yeah, it was really special. And I know that some other board members were able to be there too, and that's awesome. So
And it didn't rain, and it wasn't super hot.
it didn't rain. It almost didn't rain.
It almost at the end.
Until the superintendent leaned over and said, "Oh, we got through the whole ceremony without it raining." And then all of a sudden, it
Yeah.
started to rain.
Just a drop.
So we'll just, we'll just put that out there. Anyway, it was a really good couple weeks, and I know it was really busy for everybody. And so we just thank all of our staff and everybody for making it on through. And yeah, just a fun times, and we'll all have a good summer. So, all right, let's move on, if there's nothing else, to our last student envy report for Felipe and Rune.
Okay, so it has been a great and busy end of the school year. May was Mental Health Awareness Month. Week 1, we had a focus on kickoff and education. Week 2, we had coping, school skills, and self-care. Week 3 was peer support and connection. Week 4 was resources and advocacy. Activities throughout the month included an awesome opening educational video and slideshow to set up the month. We also made slime, had a fidget scavenger hunt, thank you cards to friends, a compliment chain, tote bag decorating, henna, and a resource fair with a lot of local businesses that had a focus on mental health and physical health. These are just to name a few. It was a great success throughout the entire month.
Yep, and at the end of May, we had our senior assembly, barbecue, function, and our last chance dance, which was hosted by the Justin Bieber fan club. The function, it's basically our high school version of a field day. It gives seniors one last chance to, play and have fun, a little recess. And there was no rain, which was a massive win as we were expecting a storm. Students enjoyed a lot of tournaments like soccer, volleyball, capture the flag, spike ball, dunk tank. I got to dunk Mr. Keller after a rough semester of political science, so that was nice. We also had blow-up activities like an obstacle course, wipeout game, and some jousting. Students also got to enjoy treats and drinks from Summit Sips and Tropicali.
Yeah, the function was a great success. It was really cool. We had, 3 years ago, I think, we had just Tropicali there, and it was really busy. Students might be able to relate, but we were just standing there the entire time, and we decided to have Summit Sips there. It was much better on the time side because you just had more options, and it wasn't as, crammed together, so, yeah. Obviously, graduation was on June 5th, on Friday, and where many showed up to celebrate all the seniors. It was a great night. Hopefully, you guys liked my speech.
Well, yeah, we just, that's all we got, but we want to thank you guys for such an amazing year and having us be here at all these board meetings, little reports. So yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Thanks again, you guys. Really appreciate you being here. We know how hard it is to make it with how busy you are, and we'll look forward to having you guys next year. Yeah, it's great. Okay. All right, let's move on to recognition and good news. I think it's Gus and Sean Maley.
Madam Chair, members of the board, pleasure to be here once again. We're in the season of celebration, and as you know, it's our tradition to recognize at the end of each season those student athletes who have achieved greatness in their specific area. And so Sean Maley's here. I'm going to invite him up, and he, as you know, knows our program, has such passion for our programs and our kids too, and I'm glad to turn it over to him to share a little bit about the celebrations that we have.
Slideshow on the big screen. You want the slideshow up there?
Sure.
It's this.
Let's see. It might be easier.
Here's yours. Yeah. We'll do it that way. All right, I can start talking while we do this real quick so we get the slideshow up for everybody. First and foremost, fantastic spring. We had a ton of success tonight. We're going to highlight, obviously, the athletes and teams that finished in the top 5 at the state level, as we always do every season. But before we get to the slideshow, I kind of recap. We had a massive, major, successful season turnaround on the boys lacrosse season, to the point at which they finished 9th in state in the final rankings, and won a playoff game at West Albany, and then I dropped a really tough game at Grant. Fun night, I was there at Grant. Tough, heartbreaking loss, but that program saw a major turnaround from last school year. And then boys volleyball was close to the playoffs. They had to join a league with a bunch of 6A teams this year, so it was a little bit tougher. The boys and girls golf both made it to the regionals out of the NWAC. And Axel Betts made it off to the state championship where he finished 18th. So we had a lot of success there. And then, of course, the baseball team was riding high and ranked second all for the most of the part of the year. And we were able to host 2 playoff games, unfortunately losing in the quarterfinals at home. But it was a beautiful sight to see. I in 23 years, have never seen a crowd that big at a high school baseball game. It was big, and it was right after the function. Tons of kids, community was out. People were sitting on the fence and all sorts of different places to try to get a view. So, but to our spring athletes who did make the top 5, we're gonna go through it here real quick. You got it up there. Our first one, when I say your name, come on forward. This kiddo, freshman, Diora. I'm going to give it a shot, Diora, even though you told me to say Diora K. Kudidova, or Diora K. Diora went to the state championships and took 2nd in the high jump. She actually tied the mark of the kid that won, but you have a certain amount of attempts, and if you didn't do it in less attempts, then the other kid wins. But Diora, we didn't put your picture up there, but I did get a very famous picture of Diora on the podium at the state championships, flexing on the crowd. It has gone viral. Diora is heading off to the nationals here at Nike Nationals, and from what her high jump coach told me the other day, Dan Pierce, she has one of the top 2 marks in the nation at the freshman level. So Diora, yes, give a round of applause for Diora. Yeah, so Diora has got a very bright future, as we can all see. She also excelled in multiple events. I think I had heard she just tried pole vault at the end, and it was just great. I can't remember the height I was told, but just give this a go and see what happens. Throw the javelin, see how that does, discus. So all around, just a star athlete on the track team, and as a freshman with a very bright future. And I can see a running duel with the other freshman that she tied for the height, but took 2nd behind. So there's going to be a lot of fun years ahead with Diora in the high jump and other track and field events. Next up, come on up. I know you're back on the back row back there. Yeah. Georgiana Williams, 5th in the 200-meter dash. This sophomore, again, got a lot of young talent here, as you can see, going to state. Unbelievably fast kiddo. I was able to watch it at one of the track meets. Bright future. 100 meters, didn't finish in the top 5, but like we have one of the speedy kids in the state. And I think we are very, very excited to watch you continue to get faster and faster and faster as the years go on. So give it up for Jordiana Williams. See him over there, come up. And then Francisco with his coach, Sean Miley here. Come on up, Francisco. Yeah, Francisco, second place in the pole vault. Tell me the height again.
14 feet.
That's really high. So if you've seen pole vault, they go essentially upside down. It's terrifying. And if you've met Mr. Miley, there is a guy named Sean Miley. He works at the school. My name is Sean Maley. We are 3 years into this experiment of him getting my emails and him getting emails with each other. But Mr. Miley is over here and has a strong passion and is, I know what he told me today, very proud of the work that Francisco put in to get to where he is at in the pole vault into second place. And thank you very much for sticking with it and making Mr. Miley proud. I know you guys are, bonded over this, and I know he's got a lot of great pictures. So, senior heading off, but congratulations again to you guys, top 2 finish at state. Francisco Solberg. All right, all of you guys come on over here. Girls lacrosse. Who we got over here? We got Melina Toledo, we got Olivia Bauman, we got Kenley Mall, Lila Mall, Rennie Spence, Georgia DeResta, Rowan McKenna, and Josie Fayborg are all here tonight. Yeah, coming up behind me here. So the girls lacrosse team was made it to the Final Four. It was an unbelievable experience watching them play. They got to the Final Four at Lake Ridge High School. Not the finish they'd hoped for, but we're going to go back to highlight the game before, where we had to travel to OES for the second time in 6 days, where they previously had went to OES to finish the season and beat them, I think, with 3 seconds left, 14-13. It was Georgia. Georgia scored with 3 seconds on a counterattack, and then we beat them again 11-10. And for us, that's a huge double win at OES in 6 days to make it to the Final Four. Josie Fayborg and Georgia DeResta were second team All-State and played in the Oregon All-Star game. So although we didn't make it to the state championship and have the result we wanted, the highlight of that is we were the only 5A team in that Final Four amongst 3 very big 6A teams, Grant, Westland, Jesuit, and us. So very proud of the work that these girls put in and their coaches, Eliza Eaton and Morgan Holloway. And the program has come so far, so fast. I know they've been building since they were little kids, but again, the girls lacrosse team is standing behind me. I'm a little nervous, but yes, they took, top 4 in state. So that is my spring wrap up. I would like to say to the board, it's been a fantastic year. I was Mr. Newton here, Bill Newton today, and going through my postseason pay, it highlighted that nearly every team was in the playoffs in some form or fashion, minus 3 teams. So it has been truly, like, Hood River Valley is on the map. We're in the conversation, and it's been my honor to get to watch all your guys' kids, some of your guys' kids, play and watch these guys. Nixie coming up here in the fall, and water polo. And then we're going to have our point guard over there in the winter, our ASB president. And then Nixie swimming again. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for next year. So thank you very much for letting me serve your community. Congratulations to these guys. It's time for you guys to get a picture with the superintendent. Yeah, girls.
We can get all the athletes to come up, and the board may have questions for you, possibly.
Got some questions?
Lots.
Fire away.
Don't you have to get up there?
All right, you guys, the board might have some questions for you. Here they come. Board, any comments or questions for the group?
Congratulations. Yeah, that's awesome.
So I got to be at the state track meet, and that is a pretty impressive venue to, kind of intimidating almost. I mean, it really is so much activity going on, and it was really fun to watch HRV do so well. I got to see you all, everything's happening so fast, but I got to see a lot of the athletes participate. So have you done it before, Francisco? Yeah.
It was my third time at state.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that, like, it's pretty amazing. Yeah,
It's an amazing field to run on.
yeah. How,
Hayward?
yeah, it is. How was the pressure of just, like, would it feel different?
It was like intense because you have to get escorted on and off the field, so it's different than normal track meets.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a big head game, but it's fun.
yeah.
It's very fun.
I got yelled at because I was down on the track when Matt Trickey was running, and so I was taking a ton of pictures of him, and this woman came up, she's like, "Are you a parent?" And I was like, "No, I'm a helper." But it was really, but it was really cool. It was really fun to be right there when you guys were running. I saw you run. I mean, you ran right by me. It was awesome. Yeah. Anyway, and then to go to Oregon Episcopal School and just kind of whoop up on them, that's pretty fun.
Yeah, they're tough, so you guys, you
Yeah.
did awesome. It's fantastic.
What was the breakthrough there? I mean, I know they've kind of been a stitch in your side.
I feel like our team has a depth. Like we have so many more good players, and whereas their team is like 4 pretty good players. Like we work well together. Yeah. Yeah. I think we wanted it more. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And you guys graduate 2 seniors, or you graduated 2 seniors from that team?
7.
Oh, more.
We have a lot of graduating seniors.
Do you have a lot of
Yeah.
juniors and sophomores?
Upcoming.
Yep, yeah, upcoming.
We had a really strong JV team. The JV actually went undefeated for the 4th year in a row. So we'll have a lot of those girls coming up to varsity next year.
That's great.
Super fun. That's awesome.
Well, thanks so much, everybody. Congratulations. Thanks for representing our community so well. We're going to have you come right over here to get a picture with Superintendent Newton. So line up right here.
While they're lining up, if you guys notice, this is Rowan McKenna's second visit to you this year. Rowan was here with the ski team when they won state.
Oh, that's right.
Excuse me, amazing.
So when you guys walk out, we have a hat, if you'd like a hat or a sweatshirt. Those are your options, and they're right on the counter over there, okay? All right, ready? On 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's give them one more round of applause.
That is awesome.
There are different sizes of sweatshirts, if you'd like to pick out a size that fits you well, or help yourself in a hat.
I mean, do you guys want to experience it?
You're welcome, congratulations.
Thank you.
Sure.
And if you are welcome to stay for as long as you want.
We might head out, but these guys will stay.
Rune has passed the baton already. It's there's a lot of good stuff, but it's going to be a little bit of a longer meeting. So, if I know it's a beautiful night and that school is done, and if you guys want to head out, you're welcome to do so. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
You guys need these back?
Take them with you. Yeah. Megan's gonna yell at me probably.
Thank you.
Guys, so much. Yeah, we'll see you guys. Thank you. See you guys next year. Have a good summer.
You too.
All right. Okay. So we are now into the public comment portion of our meeting. And we do have one public comment, so I will go ahead and read this short statement. The Hood River County School District Board of Directors requests comments be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Speakers will state their name and county of residence for the record. The board appreciates community members sharing information during public comments. While the board does not respond to public comment, following the meeting, the chair, vice chair, and superintendent will together determine the appropriate level of response. Speakers may offer objective criticism of district operations or programs, but the board will not hear complaints concerning specific district personnel. It won't exceed 30 minutes, but if you are unable to come and make a comment tonight, you can always write to us at hrcsd.board@hoodriver.k12.or.us, and we will, the chair and vice chair and superintendent will look at all of those and respond. If any of the material you are speaking about could be considered inappropriate for certain age groups, please provide the comment in writing or provide notice to ensure adequate time is provided for those in the room to leave. And our commenter today is Katya LaPierre. Yeah, come on up. No, that's fine. Okay.
Right, I hope my accent won't be an obstacle for understanding my message I'm trying to present today. Is my time is...
Just state your full
Okay.
name and what county you live in.
Hello, my name is Katya LaPierre, Hood River County resident and parent. I'm here about the new K-5 screen time policy. I appreciate the district taking this on, but honestly, it arrived with a plan and left with the same plan. Concerns were not meaningfully incorporated and meetings were rushed. I'm also court-appointed special advocate for kids in foster care. The principle guiding every decision I make there is the best interest of child, their safety, health, emotional development, and whether the systems around them truly support healthy growth. I'm asking this district be guided by the same principle, and only that principle, the best interest of our kids. Since when are paper, pencils, and books not good enough for our youngest learners? That shift tracks with EdTech's expansion into classrooms after 2010. And Oregon's outcomes since are among the worst in the nation. 2024 Nation's Report Card, Oregon ranked 4th worst nationally in 4th grade math and reading, even as per student spending rising and topped over $16,000. Let's talk already. The platform, the digital piece of it, our kids use daily. They're forced to use it 15 minutes a day. Its efficacy research is funded by the company that sells it to us and published as white papers, not peer-reviewed actual study and research. Yet independent science says the opposite. Handwriting builds stronger memory than typing. Printed books beat screens for comprehension, and math on paper outperforms math on screens. Heavy screen exposure at young age works against healthy brain development. Recently, U.S. Surgeon General issued a formal advisory linking excessive screens detrimental and recommended school prioritizing pen and paper assignments. Here what I'm asking for. Technology has a place in education as a subject taught in a dedicated class that prepares kids for the future, not as an everyday substitute for how our elementary kids learn to read and math. Our kindergartners, first, second graders should not spend the school tapping and swiping and look at the screen when downsides far outweigh the small benefit they have. Just last month, Pennsylvania's Cannon-McMillan School District eliminated Chromebooks for K through 2nd grades, and their superintendent said simply, that is purely brain development stage is so critical. This is the stage kids should not be exposed to screens. Districts nationwide are moving this direction. We don't have to be the last, he says. I'm asking this board and district to revise the K through 2nd digital policy and become the next school district to remove screens, one-on-one devices, iPads from K through 2nd classrooms. Please put kids' best interest first, not convenience, dashboards, data, budget cycles, or vendor relationships. None of those are best interest of our kids. None of that should guide these district decisions. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Oh, appreciate you coming today. All Okay, so that will conclude the public comment period of our meeting, and we will move on. We have a consolidated report, a financial report, and superintendent evaluation summary, and then we will move on to our consolidated action, and if you all had a chance to look over that, I would take a motion for that.
I move to approve the consolidated action as presented.
A second.
Okay, so there's a motion by Brandy, second by Dave. Any comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll go for a vote, and we'll start with Jesse.
Aye.
And Brandy.
Aye.
Rich.
Aye.
Dave.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, so that passes unanimously. All right, thank you so much. Okay, then we will move on to reports and discussions. And let's start with Kelly Running. Let's talk about our disproportionality report. Give me a minute to set up. Excuse me. Shoot. Sorry about that.
Are we good? Okay.
We are good.
Okay.
We have a board member online that I forgot to call for the vote, so moving forward, we will do that. Sorry for the interruption.
It's okay.
Sorry, Brenda.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I am here tonight to give you an update on something I've given an update on for the last couple of years, which is our significant disproportionality. It is a public statement that is required to ensure that you have the information, the public has the information about what we're doing with this identification. So that is what tonight's purpose is for. I'll try to give like little nuggets of information, and feel free to ask questions. I just could talk all night about special education, so I tried to keep it short. To give you a framework of why or what significant disproportionality is, when we're in our IDA, Individual Disability Education Act, which is what special education is under, one of the things we're always trying to do is balance being in the least restrictive, making sure that we have students learning to make the appropriate educational growth. And then another area that we're looking at is identification. Are we under-identifying? Are we over-identifying? So one of the things they do every year is they look at different categories, and there are three main categories: placement, discipline, and identification. And under identification, there are the main disability, there are 13 disability categories, but these are the main categories that can end up being disproportionate. And where Hood River has landed is that we are specific to specific learning disabilities. And the next part over to the right is it's around our identification of Hispanic students. We over-identify under the category of specific learning disability. And they calculate this, and if you were here 2 years ago, you'll remember that I actually went in and calculated to make sure they didn't make a mistake, and they did not. But the risk ratio is what we're looking at, and the risk ratio is really looking at, of all those students in specific learning disability, what is the proportion of non-Hispanic to Hispanic? And so where we're at right now is we are at 2.91. So 2.91 means roughly we're right about 3 times more, like 3 to 1, 3 times more likely to have a student identified under specific learning disability that is Hispanic. And what we want to be is under 2.45. So when you're identified, there's 3 main steps. The root cause analysis, we look at, they call it a policy overhaul, so we're looking at, and it's a collective. One of the things to just know about our systems are the special education can be the kind of the last stop for these processes. So I've worked collaboratively with Director McConnell and Director Jones with bringing together ELD with teaching and learning and really seeing what our systems are doing. So we've been doing that, and I'll get into that a little bit more in just a little bit. And then the other thing that is required is the financial reallocation, which means I need to take a portion, and I work with mark on this. We take the 15% of our IDA grant, which is roughly about 200-ish thousand, something like that. Mark will probably correct me later. And then we have to allocate it towards activities that are preventative rather than just special education. And so again, we identify in what we do. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. So that are the steps you need to take. And then, so this year, because we were identified again, we took some time this spring to just with the school psychologist and myself and a few other members of the special education team, did some preliminary looks. And what we're noticing right now is what we're calling a roll-up effect. And let me just kind of walk you through. This is really the biggest data slide I have, so there won't be a lot of these. But you'll see over there on the left the compliance baseline, 1-to-1, right? That's what we should have. If we have 30 non-Hispanic, we should have 30 Hispanic, or proportional to whatever that ratio of Hispanic to non-Hispanic is in the classroom. So that's our goal, and what we're noticing is early on in K2, we're really coming in with a lot of students that have speech-language impairment, which is SLI. And so then what happens up in grades 3 and 5, we start creeping up and we start noticing an acceleration in specific learning disability. And then we're hitting some kind of end results in middle school and high school. And I just really want to emphasize this is a we issue. It's not a one spot issue. But that's kind of the end result that we're seeing right now. The good news is I think we're seeing some growth down at the lower grades of being able to identify when it is a language acquisition issue and when it is a specific learning disability issue, which is quite complex. And really our school psychologists are the most, they have the education, the licensure to really help kind of tease those out. But we work with English language development to understand the acquisition of language. So what have we been doing? And we've been doing quite a bit, and we'll continue to work. So the last 2 years, we established the MTSS leadership team, and again, that was with both Kalimba and Amy. We looked at our process, and this year was last year we really looked at what are we doing when we're looking at students who are emerging multilingual and they're learning a second language, to really make sure we're accounting for those differentiations. So we continued that work this year with that team. The team was building admin, our reading specialist, the special education teams. Who am I leaving out? Anybody else? That's our MTSS. Student support specialist. And it was really led by Sarah Hayden and Amy and my teacher on special assignment, Christina Sanchez-Klein. So that was a big body of work that we will continue. And then the other thing we did is Director Jones worked with Columbia Gorge GSD to bring in Jamie Burrow, who was an expert. She's both ELD and special education, and she did a 2-day Languages Learning Institute, which was the beginning of us understanding what could we do different to really support our students in the classroom who are learning a second language. The final thing that was really a lot of work on my end was to work with our special education teams, and we did a lot of things around compliance, including evaluation, but we started that last year, and we meet about 6 times a year, and it's really about an opportunity for us to look at what our special education processes are and how we can change them, and we'll continue that work next year. And to start the school year, I will be looking with my school psychologist a little deeper into the data and with the cabinet team too, to try to understand what's going on there with that roll-up effect. So I started talking about it, and here's what we're looking at. So one of the things we've identified is, if you didn't know it, we have 2 different ways to identify specific learning disability. One is response to instruction and intervention, which is our RTII, and the other method that you can do is patterns of strengths and weaknesses, which we have done for years prior to 2015-16 when we implemented the RTII. You can't do both. You do one or the other, depending on the situation. But what we're really looking at is maybe we need to revisit the patterns of strengths and weaknesses, because we do notice that we started spiking more around the RTII implementation. And again, not that fault, but like we're thinking maybe we need to kind of step back and do a little bit more work with patterns of strengths and weaknesses and look at our protocols there. So our our school psychologists will be helping lead that work for us next year, along with our MTS building teams. The other thing we're doing is I put a big emphasis, and I am looking at putting like a chunk of my money towards curriculum for specially designed instruction, which is what we provide in special education to ensure that we are filling the gaps of learning for our students. And so we had some things, but we're trying to do, again, with my teacher on special assignment, TOSA, Christina Sanchez client. She really started gathering, what are we using, how are we using it, what is best practice, and really coming up with a menu of interventions that we can use for SDI, similar to what we do with our general education when we do our tiered interventions. So that's what we worked on to get set up, and next year our hope is to implement curriculum and provide the training to support, so our special education teams have the tools they need to support all students. And then we'll be working really closely with Kalumba on the culturally responsive practices. It's a big body of work. It's a lot to do, but we really want to make sure that we are increasing our knowledge of what it's like to be an emerging multilingual, which is the EML acronym down there, and really understand when it might be a disability and when it might be that we're just learning a second language. Sound good? Okay. And again, we're doing a lot of collaboration with together to make sure it's not a siloed operation. So just, again, part of this public statement to just understand we're above that risk ratio. We need to take it serious and do the work together collaboratively as a district. We're really looking at that conflation of what is language acquisition with a cognitive disability. This is really going to be important for our school psychologists to be involved in and really help educate us as well, because they've got that knowledge and we need to make sure we all start to understand it really well. And then we'll just look at those MTSS interventions and special education evaluation processes. And again, this isn't like pointing the fingers or anything like that. This is really about what are we doing? We know we're doing great things for kids, but maybe we need to think a little bit more before we want to go towards that label of special education on a student, but still be able to provide the services. So that's it. That's my report.
Any questions for Kelly?
Are there any figures available for comparable districts?
It's a great question.
Demographic?
Yeah. We are one of 7, I think, districts in the state with this, and there are 3 of us with this disproportionality. They don't tell us who the other people are, which is unfortunate because I really wanted to talk to them. So that gives you, we have hundreds of districts, right? So it's a pretty big deal that we're in a group of 3 around this issue. So that's why we're taking it. When you look at the national averages, it's 2.45 is there, I think, for a reason. That's where, once we get there, it's still not great, right? It's still a 2 to 1, but it's getting closer to what's considered national average issue. So I'm not sure that answered, but hopefully that gave you the information.
I mean, in understanding, an average is an average, and there will be some years that we will have more kids that actually need SPED services.
Mm-hmm. And we never want to deny them.
Right,
if
right.
they really-
Important to
yeah.
err the other way.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions. One of them is, so we got this report several years ago, and completely understanding that change takes time, but have our numbers shifted just with the awareness of knowing that we're doing this?
Not for the better, to be
Okay.
quite frank. This year that number was, it went up. And so I think that's an important thing to look at what's happening and where is it happening. And so that roll up, where is that happening? I think it's going to be a big part of what we do at the beginning of next year, and a little bit with cabinet whenever they're ready to do it over the summer. So, yeah.
And then my other question for you was, let me go back. Shoot. I have to always write things down. Oh, so you went through and you looked and were like, yeah, we're doing this wrong. So when you find a kid that you're you probably can't go through it with that fine of tooth comb, but if you find a student that you're I don't know if that's really necessary, are we instantly pulling them out and,
Of special education?
Yeah.
Oh, no, not,
No.
it's a process, right? And I
Okay.
think it's more looking at our systems and trying to, during reevaluations, which are every 3 years, we're going to look at those things. Just because they were, doesn't mean they continue. And again, the whole point is doing what's right for kids and making sure that we have the services that they need. Sometimes it doesn't have to be special education, right? And I think that there's been kind of like, that's the bus stop that we're going to. But you would never go in and start pulling kids out. But you do need to revisit this when you're doing those reevaluations, or when it's really clear you need to do a reevaluation, and then our initials. And, and I think it's an interesting discussion, right? Because again, a lot of that knowledge about language acquisition is pretty complex. And so getting people comfortable with that and understanding disability versus giving help,
Yeah.
I think is going to be an important thing.
I would really like the state to recognize that maybe you don't have to tell everybody who is having that struggle, but seems like it would really make sense to share that kind of
Yeah.
information between groups.
Yeah.
So that they can kind of say like, oh, we're doing this and,
Yeah. You
you
can
know.
kind of guess when you see names, but you
Yeah.
don't know what they're there for.
yeah.
Well, and it would be helpful too if one of those schools has a big change, like what did they do, right? So
Right.
that other
Yeah.
people could.
Yep,
could
I
do
asked,
the
I
same.
asked that, and I'll meet with them again, I think, in July, but they were gonna do whatever they do at Department of, and they've been helpful. This is significant, it's a district, wide issue, I just get to represent it. But, they said that, I asked that, because I was like, I just wanna learn from what other people are doing. And I think we're doing, I think we're doing good things for kids, but this is indicating that we're over, identifying that it as a disability to do good things, so.
Okay, Corinda, I know you're online. Do you have any questions? I can't see you. Okay.
Sorry, no, I think you asked them. I think it is really hard, and I think especially when we're having when we had those years where we weren't necessarily having the same option for this, and some of that might be the issue as well. I think for our numbers, but I do think it's really important to make sure that we're not over identifying. But I agree with Chrissy in the sense that if kids are having issues, we want to make sure that we're giving them everything they need, even if it's not the diagnosis. So.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks so much, Kelly. Okay, we'll go bring up Gus Hedberg next, and we're going to do a first reading of board policy report.
Okay. Madam Chair, members of the board.
Gus,
This-
can I make one request?
Yeah.
So, because sometimes it is hard to tell when you're going through, and if this is like a new policy, can you just kind of say like, it's a new policy? Or if it's
Sure.
something that, it's just like changing a word, that would be
Sure.
awesome.
Sure.
It would just help me not have to ask all the questions.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, so members of the board, this is a first reading of, we have 6 policies. And as you know, these have all gone through our board policy committee. And the idea here is that we would look at them this evening. I'd present the overview. You'll have a chance to, we've had a chance to review those, and if there are any that you'd like to bring back for discussion, just let us know. Otherwise, the next time we look at these, it would be to approve them without discussion. So the first one that we'll take a look at is JHCD and the AR related to that, and that's it's on medications. This is not a new policy, but a required update from OSBA. And both the policy and the AR, the purpose is they authorize trained staff to administer necessary medications and permit responsible students to self-administer. This policy establishes emergency protocols that allow staff to administer epinephrine and severe allergic reactions, and short-acting opioid antagonists for suspected overdoses. In addition, the district maintains through this policy oversight by retaining the authority to deny medication requests or revoke a student's self-administration privileges if medication is abused or deemed unnecessary for school attendance. The next one we'll look at is IKF, graduation requirements. This is not a new policy. It provides some updates, and it puts into practice, or puts into policy, our practice for comprehensive credit and proficiency requirements for awarding our diplomas, which include a standard, an alternative, a modified, and an extended diploma, as well as a certificate of attendance. The next one is IKFB, and this one, again, is not new. This one is regarding graduation exercises. It's mostly the same, but it provides some updates that fall in line with our practice. This is a policy that we've had for quite some time. Highlights would be that it does outline the participation options for students who complete the variety of diplomas and who are in good standing with the district, and that's something that's established by the administration. And it also sets forth guidelines for approved student speeches and graduation attire. Policy JECB, this is an AR. This is regarding admission of foreign exchange students. Not a new policy. This is an update. The update here is that the primary eligibility criteria for a foreign exchange student is changed from age to grade level. And then it also covers credit earning requirements for foreign exchange students. Policy IIA, and there are 2 ARs. These are not new, but they have received a pretty comprehensive overhaul for based on guidance from OSBA, and just it's taken almost, I think, a couple of years to really revamp these to a way that works for our school district, but also falls in line with legal obligations. These set of policies and ARs, they govern the selection and adoption of our core, supplemental, and library instructional materials. And like I said, there are a few there that had to all fall in line, so the work there is just making sure they're in sync with each other. And then the last one, DLC. Again, not a new policy, so really no new policies this time around, but this one needed a pretty significant overhaul to match with our practices and also fall in line with our legal obligations to report expenses. It provides guidance for our staff on how to manage out-of-pocket expenses for travel, professional growth, and all the required submission of receipts and paperwork.
Great. Thank you so much.
Any questions?
Any questions for Gus? You answered all mine. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you very
So,
much.
so just again to reiterate what Gus said, so the next time we look at these, we'll be voting on them. So if you do have any questions, make sure you get a hold of Gus before that time, because that'll just be an okay, unless there are any. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we are going to move on to Will Norris, who's going to present from the city of Hood River. Welcome, Will.
Thank you. Okay, I think we're getting some technology set up. Wonderful. Okay, for your patience. Madam Chair, members of the board, thank you for allowing me time on your busy calendar today. I'm here to talk about some proposed voter bonds that the city is considering to address public safety and housing needs in Hood River. And primarily, I'm going to focus in on housing because I think it's most relevant to the board today. I do want to emphasize that I'm not here to ask for an endorsement or support, just to provide information and to get your input. So first, I'm going to start with the problems that the bonds are intended to address, what actions we've already taken before asking voters for a tax increase, what bonds could fund and could cost, our next steps in our planning processes as we're putting these bond programs together. And then the most important part is ask questions to solicit your input. And I believe some of the questions have been provided to you already. So I'm only going to touch briefly on the police station because that is the safety half of our bonds. Our police station is in the converted fire engine bay of the basement of City Hall, which is a 100-year-old brick masonry building. Received only minor updates when they moved in. Has no secure interview room, no ventilated area for processing dangerous substances like amphetamines and fentanyl, and doesn't even have an adequate number of bathrooms for the staff that we have. So the bond would turn this into an adequate facility with the basic functionalities you would expect from a police station, along with seismic upgrades and emergency power backup. But focusing in on the main topic for tonight is our housing bond. So these are the 7 homes on Zillow that have been built and sold in Hood River in the last 3 years. Now, other homes have been built, but they've generally been, what we're seeing is custom homes that don't go on the market. So these are the ones that were built, put on the market, and sold. We're just not seeing the type of subdivisions that we used to have, like when Seaver Crop was building out. Builders just won't take the risk anymore. Land is too expensive to start building if you don't already have someone who has ordered a custom home for you. And this graph shows the severity of the problem of the home values versus incomes, so the affordability of homes in Hood River. Now, the rule of thumb for a new home buyer is about a 3-to-1 ratio. If your household makes $100,000 per year, maybe a $300,000 home would be roughly affordable for you. Now, back in 2012, the typical home was $294,000, and the median income in Hood River was $56,000, so about a 5-to-1 ratio. Not great. But in 2024, which is the most recent year that we have income data for, it's moved up to an 8-to-1 ratio, with the typical home value being just over $700,000. Now, price rises relative to incomes were somewhat muted as interest rates kept going lower and lower and lower. But I think we all have seen that has reversed in the last few years. So this graph shows the median household income in Hood River and the median household income needed to buy the typical home in Hood River. And so even as home prices increased, interest rates kept mortgage rates relatively attainable, and these moved somewhat in lockstep. Up until recently, the gap has just exploded. So now, while the median household income is about $86,000 in Hood River, the income you would need to buy the typical home is $136,000. So as we look to address this through taxes, many people ask, for those folks who have already purchased their home and maybe having issues affording living here, why could it make sense for them to increase their taxes to help other people? And so a list of some of the community-wide benefits and considerations for supporting housing. So first is that 4 out of 5 people who work in Hood River commute in here from elsewhere. And you've probably seen it on 2nd and Oak in rush hour at 8 a.m. and at 5 p.m. Long lines of cars either coming into or out of Hood River, and that's because 80% of our workforce commutes in here from elsewhere because they can't afford to be in Hood River. That means that labor costs more and is in shorter supply for our employers. It also means that all those workers are volunteering elsewhere, coaching elsewhere, being part of other communities, or maybe not doing any of that because they're so tired from commuting. One half of our police and fire staff live outside of Hood River County, so not just outside of the city, but outside of the county. That means they could be cut off during an emergency if I-84 is closed down, which it commonly is in the winter. It also means that they begin their shifts, which typically range from 10 hours to 24 hours after commuting in from long distances. And then lastly, 53% of renters are housing cost burdened, which means that they spend more than 30% of their gross income before taxes on housing costs. And that means that young households that can't see a place here in Hood River put down roots elsewhere where it's more affordable and grow their families elsewhere, and that has impacts on school enrollment. Increases stress, and then if housing is taking up more and more of your household budget, that means there's less for education, goods, and just services that you need for your family. So the city has been, affordability has been a city top issue since at least 2015. It's been ranked #1 by our city council every single year, and we've done quite a bit to try to address it. So I just want to run through some of the greatest hits, and I'd say this is about maybe a third of all the things we've done, but some of the larger ones. So we regulated short-term rentals in 2016, and the number of short-term rentals in town has essentially plateaued at about 150 to about 170. We made it easier to build townhomes through some code updates, and that's a relatively more affordable type of construction. And we also passed a 1% construction excise tax for affordable housing. And that money was leveraged into buying the property that is now Mariposa Village, which is 130 units of affordable housing that is opening up this summer. In 2019, we made updates to accessory dwelling unit code that essentially eliminated a lot of the fees that you would pay if you were going to build in what's called an ADU in your backyard, and eliminated parking requirements. In 2020, we eliminated parking requirements if you're going to convert a downtown commercial building to a residential use. So downtown didn't require any off-street parking until 2006. That's why we have a bunch of brick buildings that go right up to the street, and why we argue about parking every year. But it's also why downtown is quaint and why we love the way it looks and feels. But since we did start requiring off-street parking in 2006, that created some problems for potential conversion to residences. So we said if you're going to build housing in an existing building, you don't have to provide off-street parking. In 2021, we leveraged construction excise tax to buy a little over 2 acres on 780 Rand Road that eventually became Mariposa Village, as I noted. Then in 2002, we adopted what's called a middle housing code, and that allows you to build at much greater densities if you build smaller, modest-size homes, which are, all else held equal, less expensive than large homes, and also reduced parking requirements. So those images show what's typically built under normal zoning on the top, and then what could be built on the same size parcels using our middle housing code. Then in 2002, we also adopted our 2022 affordable housing strategy with a whole list of strategies to implement. And that was the product of deep community engagement with employers, the public, renters, and lots of focus groups. So one of the first recommendations of the affordable housing strategy was to create the West Side Urban Renewal District as a funding source for housing investments. So that was done in 2023. 2024, we launched a modest housing construction incentive. So not only are there regulatory bonuses if you build small homes, we also provide $12,500 in direct incentive, and that was a result of the affordable housing strategy. And then for 2026, our adopted affordable housing strategy recommended going for a bond to continue making housing investments in Hood River. Portland, Metro, and Salem have all done housing bonds, and so we would be the pioneers in using this tool in a rural Oregon environment. So if a housing bond was passed, how could it be used? And I'm going to use Mariposa Village as an example. So first is to acquire land. Land is the big bottleneck in Hood River. We evaluate properties for their development potential, and the city can often acquire land at less than market value for either if people appreciate closing quickly or they just appreciate the mission of the organization. Next, you set your project goals and issue a solicitation for a developer. So with Mariposa Village, we wanted a publicly accessible park, a new road, trail connections. We wanted sustainable building, wetland protections. We also wanted a mix of incomes and both rental and ownership. The proposals we got back that eventually came in Mariposa Village met many of our goals, but we, having only the land to contribute, were forced to do rental only and could not do any ownership housing. Just simply didn't pencil. So while developers could offer that, different models, we didn't have the funds at the time, and so we were really, as a very minor funder of this project, we put in about $1.7 million, and there's about $55 million of other state and federal funds. We were really at the whim of what the other funders would fund. And so I think that's also one place to focus in on. If we have a bond and additional funding that we're bringing, we have much more local control about what gets built. So after you select a developer who has the best development proposal, given the resources you have to bring to bear, they pull together all the funding and financing, finalize a development agreement. We all close with all the lenders, and construction begins. So for Mariposa Village, you can really trace this all the way back to 2016, and now people are going to be moving in 2026. And so that really illustrates the timeline and why we're getting going on our next project now rather than waiting. And so for how much this bond would cost, that's part of what we're receiving input on right now is what people would be willing to support, and we haven't finalized on a rate yet. But if we modeled after the Metro Oregon rate at 24 cents per thousand, that would support about $1.8 million in borrowing and cost the typical homeowner $4.36 per month. If instead voters in Hood River supported the rate that voters in Portland supported, that would raise $8.5 million and cost the typical property taxpayer in Hood River $7.64. So where we are in the process is really receiving input on what people want to see and what they're willing to support. I'm doing these community presentations. We also have an online survey with a lot of with questions. Be hosting a town hall on June 23rd at City Hall, and on also a police department open house on June 29th. And then we're going to do some final polling in June, take all the information we received back to the city council, who will make a final determination on whether to forward a bond and what the outlines of that bond will be that go to voters. Yep, sorry. So late July, finalize ballot titles, and then voters decide on November 3rd. So with that, I wanted, the main reason to be here is to not talk at you, but to hear your input. Have these 5 questions that I think have been provided to you ahead of time, and I'll defer to the chair maybe to take it one at a time, or if I'll just stop here and let people choose.
Does anybody have something they'd like to share with Will in particular? And if you have an answer for each one, you could go through each one of them. Or if you have just sort of an overarching.
Well, I think your comments a few slides ago were accurate. It seemed to kind of align with these questions to me. I mean, yeah, it's not helping any for our student numbers. That doesn't help us for our budget from the state. It's a tremendous amount of stress on families. You put people out of the city, out of the county. I think you guys defined the problem there.
As we are, I think we're still the largest employer in the county. I mean, our staffing, the impact on our staff is huge. It's really hard to have our staff live outside of the county, and then if there's any kind of weather, they can't make it to their jobs, and that is a real problem for everybody. And also just what you mentioned about, we want our staff to be part of our community because we want them to be able to be involved and have their own families here if they choose, and be able to coach and volunteer and, see their students at roast hours and all the things. So I think that for me is a big thing too, just being able to get, attract good staff. I know that over the years that I've been on the board, we've had lots of staff members that have come out here, tried to work for a year, found it unsustainable, and then had to move away. And that's really difficult to lose really good people because they can't find a house here. Yeah, and I think that's hard for students, to not recognize people in classes year over year. I know it's always so fun. Graduation just happened. Our seniors go back to their elementary schools to walk around, and the neatest part of that is seeing teachers that you had when you were in elementary school, and that longevity, without being able to own a home, is hard for people. It's hard to think about renting for 12, 13 years. So, and then just the impact on young families being able to move into our county is really difficult. That's part of our issue with just decreased numbers that we just don't have. There's lots of things, but that's one of them. Yeah.
I kind of second what you said. We have had staff that we wanted, to come into the district, and they just can't find housing that they can afford, which does make it difficult for sure. So, yeah.
Yeah. I get depressed every time I look at Zillow. There's some very nice houses here, but we'll just have to admire them from afar. But I was also thinking, I echo everything you guys said, but I think one of the things that's kind of touched on in the last question, but parents, families are stressed about housing, and I think sometimes we don't think about how that impacts the student, but if a student is, even if the parents try to shield them from that, but they know, right? So it's hard to want to do your homework when you might be homeless in a month. So it's not just the staffing impact, but it's also the ability for students to be able to perform when their housing isn't secure. And then I also think about kind of just what I said at the beginning, though. There's a lot of students that we've come from the district and we want to be here. And I think if I didn't live with my parents, if they didn't already have a home here, I probably wouldn't have moved back. And so how many of our students that are just graduating probably do want to come back and want to be here and want to go out and study to be able to come back and provide services here, but they can't afford to unless, their parents also have a spare bedroom for them. So it's, this is definitely something that is very interconnected with our school district.
One question I have would kind of go back to your slide about short-term rentals, and then in 2019, moving toward, I guess, easing up regulations for ADU units. And they said and I don't know what year you pulled the data from, but basically you were kind of flatlining with regards to the short-term rentals between 125 to whatever, 170. Did that change in 2019 when you looked at
ADUs?
the stuff for the ADUs?
Yeah, so ADUs cannot be used for short-term rentals in Hood River. We will not license a short-term rental in an ADU. And when we first started the program, we had about 180 licensed short-term rentals, and that grew to about 200. But then we had an end of 7-year grandfathering period. So there was a lot of people who operated short-term rentals prior to the new regulations that were allowed a 7-year time frame to basically roll up their investment and switch uses of their house. So then we saw when that grandfathering period ended, a big drop off, and that's where we jumped down from about 200 to about, now we're about in like the 150 range, and then it's kind of plateaued from there. So that's the biggest factor, was just churning out all the legacy short-term rentals from the early 2010s has been the biggest factor in the number, but ADUs have never been allowed to be used.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm up in Parkdale, and the struggle up there is with EFU land and what you can do with that. And if I want to convert orchard property into labor housing, I mean, I can certainly do that. But, the housing for everybody involved is a huge challenge for us.
Corinda, any other comments? Okay.
Right.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for your time and for allowing me to share this information with you.
I appreciate our collaboration on many things, so,
Yes.
yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. And our final report and discussion, no, is that where I am? No, action items. Here we go. I'm going to invite up for his very last school board presentation of 30 years, Mr. Brent Emmons is going to talk about the Extended Field Trip Solar Car Club. So make it good, Mr.
Yeah,
Emmons.
so you're in for a treat tonight,
Fireworks will go off
Chrissy.
when you're done.
Madam Chair and members of the board, thank you for having us. We have some guests up here that are going to be presenting with us, and we have Isabel Forrest, Sophia Cohen, and I want to make sure Coach and Advisor Justin Euland come up as well. What we're here to do is to present a little bit of information about one of the most exciting things that I've had, 1/10 of 1% of my time and energy just being able to support this super cool STEM project, and it is super cool. So the team is planning a trip to Texas to participate in a big race, and it's involved huge amounts of community organization, time, dedication, sponsors from the corporate sector. It's been really impressive. I'm going to turn it over to Justin Euland, the advisor and coach.
Sure. Thank you for taking time, and the team is here. I'm going to turn it to them, and they can explain the project and what the field trip is all about. But yeah, it's the first year of the team. It's been a phenomenal process to get to this point. We're not done yet, but I think we're going to get there. Yeah, we're looking forward to the support of the district to approve our field trip. So with that, Isabel, you want to?
You just tell me when you're ready to switch, and I'll go to the next slide for you. All right.
So we are a Hood River Valley Valley High School team just started this year. Our goal is to build a solar-powered car to go race in Texas at the Solar Car Challenge. There has been around 25 students who have come and checked out the club. About 15 are actually involved in coming every day. And that was us just a few days ago presenting to the school and parents and sponsors on where we are and where we're going to go. And I'll hand it off to Sophia to talk about the challenge.
So the challenge is basically revolving around the idea that we are going to hand build a car, and it's going to be powered completely out of solar power. And once we have that, there is a cross-country course that's all over Texas, and I think it spans over 5 days. It's about 5 days to try and 600 miles, trying to race to see which team can go the most miles on one charge. It's like a really good opportunity because STEM and engineering is such an important part of our society today, and these kinds of programs to get like actual hands-on experience honestly come really far and wide. So to start this year and to participate in honestly something really elite as high schoolers is kind of a huge opportunity for all students that are really interested in opportunities in a STEM career in the future. I know myself, I'm interested in that, and this is like a really good opportunity for me to know what it's like, parts of a job that could be involved when building something so huge and designing it. I guess at the end we can go more into it if you guys are more
Yeah,
curious.
photos at the end.
But just in essence, what it is just a big race.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of community support and it's a lot of effort in order to build something so, I guess,
Do you want to
impressive.
go forward 2 slides?
Yeah.
So that's the race schedule for when we're down in Texas. You want to walk through it?
Sure. So this is the schedule, more or less, what we're going to do. It consists of us going through and explaining all of the tasks of our car and being able to explain every component competently. So we have to be able to explain electrical schematics, building, engineering, framework design, CAD, you name it, whatever we did to build the car, we have to be able to explain it. That's going to take, I think, about 2 days, I think?
I think it's
3
4
days?
days.
4 days. So it's 4 days of just all of that. And then after that, the next 5 days are going to consist of us actually racing across country courses.
And on the next slide, you'll see the course.
So there's
That's amazing.
about 5 different courses that we're going to be running, and there's a bunch of endpoints at each of them. The idea is that you're going to be racing a certain part of it and seeing how far you can get in that time, and seeing if you can get to the end. Realistically, that's probably not possible, but that's the space you're going to race in one day. You stop for the day, you race the rest the next day, you stop, race the next part, stop, race another part, stop, race another part. And you're trying to accumulate the most miles over that short span of, like just cross the most land, essentially. But it has to be completely on solar panel power. You use the solar panels to get the power, obviously.
That's so cool.
We can go more into that if it needs more clarifying, but I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I would
There
say.
are 12 high schoolers who are going to be going to the Solar Car Challenge. As you can see down there, most of them come to drive. We have a few who will not be driving, but helping on telemetry, helping us figure out how fast we want to go, how to manage the hills, because there's going to be hills that we're going to have to cross, just the kind of data. We'll have 3 mentors there at all times. There's going to be 2 mentors who switch out halfway through. And they'll be helping drive the lead and follow cars so that our solar car is safe.
So you switch off driving.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
different people drive at different times.
It's, I think it's over a 12-hour day that you drive.
Okay.
And so you do not want to have one person
Yeah.
driving that whole time.
That's amazing.
And also,
It's gonna be hot. It's gonna
Yeah.
be hot.
Yeah.
This-
Texas in July.
this is not on a closed course either. This is going to be on the highway.
Yeah.
It's still like 16-wheelers, so you got to make this thing safe.
Wow. So the rest of you be in a van, and then,
Yeah.
somebody will drive and then they'll jump out and somebody will
Yeah.
jump in and keep
Essentially,
driving.
yeah, essentially it's just gonna be a car. It's
Yeah.
literally just the car we built, except a bunch of high schoolers built it. It's going to be driving on the road, and it has to maintain higher than 25 miles per hour constantly.
We're gearing it to around 40 to 50 miles an hour, top speed.
Yeah, so, and all the other people that won't be driving the car, their job is to talk to people that ask them, where's the gas tank in this thing? What's happening? And so, yeah, that's my job and others that won't be driving. And also, it's basically a driving pit crew in the vans because we need to be able to fix the solar car if there's a flat, if there's something like that that is broken or down.
Essentially all the freshmen.
Or
sophomores. We're sophomores
True.
now. We gotta acknowledge that. But I know Forrest is very knowledgeable about like all of the engineering and actual building of the car. I myself, I work on the electrical and am pretty knowledgeable with that. And then I think, who else?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, okay.
Shout out to our sponsors. Like, you cannot build a car without having something there to help us. So we've reached out to a whole lot of people from all over the community and outside the community. And they've helped us a whole lot. Yeah. Next slide. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you're like looking at our finances right here. Man, this is expensive. I mean, it's a car. Like, so yeah, we needed a lot of money.
We've got. We've pretty much we've raised enough to pay for all the expenses of the car. Right now, we're just doing our final stretch to pay for the flight down to Texas, marine boarding and all that, because that's kind of expensive. And we don't want to charge the students who are going to be going down there. Yeah. If we go to the next one.
How close are you to meeting those goals?
We are. How much do we have? We have 4,000 towards the trip right now, and it's about 20,000 that we want total. We're looking for a large sponsor from either Cardinal Glasson or, well, we talked to Google. Google hasn't really responded to us. So we are trying to find one large sponsor who can give us quite a bit, but we've been reaching out to the community a lot. We've been selling donuts, and we've been having the small young kids drive the cars and sign the vehicle, and so we're reaching out. We're getting as much money as we can, but we're just looking for that one last big sponsor.
So I'd like to pretend that we have hundreds of people watching us right now. We might not, but we do have some. So if you wanted to, like, say right now how somebody could give you some money, you might have a couple people that would?
Well, the Solar Car team does have a website. You can just search up solar storms or Hood River Solar Car, and it'll be the first thing that pops up.
Hey.
And from there, you scroll down all the way down to support us, and then you type in, hey, I want to support you, and we'll get back to you with an email.
Fantastic. So for all those hundreds of people listening right now.
Is the car, like, so the base car, was that like a kit type of thing you got? Or you guys
Go
built
to
that
the
up
next
from
slide.
scratch?
We have like a few more extra tips if we got this far. Additional material. So there's some photos building the car.
All right.
This thing was designed from scratch. So we got on the computer and we just started sketching it out on the computer. And after we kind of liked how it looked, we sent it. Oh, yeah, go ahead. You guys talk about it.
Yeah, so the square tubing, that's 1-inch steel, and we welded the whole frame up, designed all of it together, and we're still working on getting the A-arms in place and all the steering aspects, including the motor and the differential and stuff. Getting that all.
So did you start working on this like at the beginning of the year or last year too, or just all this year? Okay.
Just this year.
Jeez.
How much do you think it's gonna weigh?
Right
Over
now,
500
it's weighing like 500 pounds. We're hoping it doesn't go over too much further over.
I mean, that's
that.
gotta be part of
It's
the-
gotta be light,
the
but
goal.
right now, our goal is to get it across the finish line. And therefore, we're trying to make it as durable as possible. And with durability comes weight.
And also hopefully just like functionality for years to come. Like hopefully this is something that catches on and stays in motion for like cause we like started this year, but hopefully we can keep reusing this car for competitions in the future.
Modify it, of course.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
make it better.
Make it better.
another big thing we're working on is the crumple zones or the crush zones in the car. So those are, I believe, 15 centimeters away from the like mainframe. And so those basically stop or help lessen the impact if we do get in an accident or get in a crash. And so those are metal boxes that we've basically designed with some kind of winged ribbing. You can see some of those tabs. We have some metal, what are those called? Plates, anyway, that we wrapped metal around and filled that up with two-part spray, two-part
Two-part foam.
two-part foam, yeah. So that'll be protecting us.
I mean,
Is there anything else you want to add on?
I'd just like to say that I'm very happy that I got to work with such a great team, and this has been a very fun experience. I'm just really hoping that we can get down to Texas and make it a reality.
Yeah.
so you guys, you buy a solar panel? And then do you,
Yes.
Okay, so we actually, like, solar panels are probably the most expensive component of the entire car just because we actually got them custom made by a private company in North Carolina and donated them for free from this actually, like, potentially really, really good company. Like, it's a really, like, not potentially, it's a really good company. Like, they make solar panels for satellites, for rockets, for military. Like, it's really good. So the fact, like, we got on a Zoom call with the CEO, right? We got on call with, like, CEO and me and a couple other people. Like, we went through talking about, like, oh, wow, you're going to give us these solar panels. Here's the stats on them. Don't drill into them. Like, stuff like that. Just, like, stuff about them. And they're just really, really good. Like, they're really good.
and they go into a battery?
Yeah, they
But-
go through a converter to convert it from 103 volts. I'm pretty sure it's like about 103 volts. They bring in when they're wired all together as a full array. And it goes through a converter that converts it down to I think it's like about 49 volts that runs the main system. Then we have an additional 12 volts that runs another separate system. That's gonna go on the dash. So lights, indicator lights, signal lights, because signal lights.
You're on the highway.
Yeah, so signal lights, indicator lights, to turn it on, we have to have a special disconnect switch, which is running the low power system is running that disconnect switch, just in case an emergency, it can just be turned off automatically. The high power is obviously like running the motor, the battery, the converter. I think it's running through the contactors, so it's just a really big system that's running on specific volts.
But no AC or Bluetooth.
Oh, yeah.
No, there will be AC.
Okay. So you're gonna be in Texas. Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, obviously we have to be protected, like, in the car, but it would be really sad if you do all that work to protect somebody from an accident and then you die from heat stroke.
True.
Super sad, yeah. Well, this is absolutely blowing my mind. I just can't believe that you guys are doing this. It's just so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If you want to keep up with what's going on, we do have newsletters. Those can also be signed up for on the website, so.
All right, give me the exact website again, like,
Just search up Solar Storm.
Solar Storm.
Yeah.
Or.
okay.
Well, it was HRVH.
I did it like that.
Solar,
Okay.
right?
You got, it came right up, all right.
Car
Well,
number.
this is awesome.
I think it's also on the slides that you can just click the
Okay.
link.
I was doing it mostly for all the hundreds of people that are listening right now.
Oh, goodness.
I'm super excited for you guys. I really hope that you make it and you make it past all this. I mean, it looks like you have a little bit to go. Just to, even when you get down there, you have some hurdles to cross. And I really, you guys will have to come back and tell us how well you did. Yeah, and just, wow, I'm just blown away. It's really neat.
Thank you.
Really cool. Please tell everybody, all of your teammates, like, You blew you blew my socks off. That's amazing. Yeah. Well, you guys, anybody have any other questions?
Well, so you're pretty much there. You just need the money for the trip,
Yeah, that's where we are financially.
but your vehicle's
We have no.
pretty good shape.
We've got most of the parts here. They're all.
I'm giving you some outs here.
Different sections of.
Crunch
the-
time.
Yeah.
Oh, did I ever mention the competition's in July? So, like, if any of you guys have any sponsors you guys can think of, like, send them our way, because
Yeah.
they're trying to make it to Texas.
Okay. That is fantastic. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, if you guys don't have anything else for us, they need a motion to approve this field trip.
I move to approve the proposed extended field trip for the HRVHS Solar Car Club to Fort Worth, Texas, July 14th through the 25th, 2026.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion by Jesse and a second by Brandy. Any further questions? All right, I'm going to start with you, Corinda.
Aye.
And Jesse.
Aye.
And Brandy.
Aye.
Aye.
Dave. And the chair is an enthusiastic aye. So that passes unanimously. So go out there, get your money. You don't have to win. Do well, stay safe, and come back and tell us all about it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Really proud of you guys. Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, Mr. Emmons, for tonight and for 30 years. Yep, we appreciate you. Well, we might as well just go home. Oh, wait, we got a few more things to do. All right, we are going to bring up Ann Carlos to go over the HROA curriculum with us.
Just the bottom
Okay,
presentation.
second.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I apologize ahead of time. I have the head cold and the cough, and I'm trying to manage it, and so if I break into a cough, I might have to leave. Just to give you a little background, HROA has been using the Acellus platform since its inception. And last year, right around, I want to say June 20th, Acellus doubled the price on us. And that was very shocking, and the school district came through, and we were kind of put into a corner. Acellus did the same thing to us this year. So we were really forced to look at a new platform in a very short time frame. And I want to thank, first of all, Todd Hillstad for his support, for Sarah Hayden from the curriculum department for her support, and for Mark DeMoss from the business office for his support to help us get in front of you tonight. I also want to say that the HROA staff in entirety has had the opportunity to explore several different platforms with us, again, in a very short notice, and it's been an unanticipated big lift for all of us. One of the things that we were not pleased with Acellus was the level of rigor that Acellus brings to the platform. It was chosen in a time when it really met the school district's needs, and we were planning on looking for something new, and so this just forced our hand. Tonight, we are proposing that you adopt the Edmentum digital curriculum for HROA. We have met with their representatives who are incredibly receptive, excellent customer service. Each of the teachers at HROA have had dummy accounts that they've been playing around with this. We've had follow-up meetings. Todd and his department of one of the things with the digital curriculum has vetted all of the safety features that this company can offer us. We did look at another kind of very flashy AI type of driven digital curriculum, and it did not meet our safety requirements at this time. So, Edmentum, one of the things about Edmentum, again, kind of look at this as a digital textbook. The magic is in our teaching and how we modify the courseware that we can offer to students. one of the greatest things that the teachers absolutely adore about Edmentum is the ability to customize the courses for them. They can bring in new videos, they can bring in the content that they want the kids to learn, and they can really make it interactive, and they're very excited about that feature. Excuse me. The precision implementation in this digitalized curriculum, you can move kids forward, you can take out content that they've already mastered, you can slow things down, and you can essentially try to meet the child where they're at academically, which is wonderful and something that we really can't do with Acellus at this time. So that is a step up. And again, it's real time, the dashboards are lovely, the interface between the teachers, the families, and the students is very intuitive and user-friendly. Next. And again, there's a learning cycle that's going on for each student individually, which I just stated with a dynamic platform like this. Again, if students need specific skill developments, they can be tested ahead of time. The program will tell us where the skill building is necessary. The student will be learning those skills along with teacher support. Teachers can stop a student from moving forward, et cetera, et cetera. So it's very dynamic again and interactive between the students and the teachers. And then one more slide. Again, just a little bit of research in the packet. You would see that there is supplementary material attached if you want to really get in and look at the research. It is proven to help students. I did do reference checks with Hillsborough and Greater Albany Public Schools. They're very happy with this digital platform. Hillsborough's been using it for certain things for over 23 years. So we're here tonight to answer any questions and to ask you to adopt this Edmentum curriculum for HROA for the 26-27 school year.
Any questions for Ann? So this is for K through 12?
This is K through 12, which was really important for us, that it's the same platform.
And it has a Spanish component to it
Yes,
as well?
everything, it's got many languages that we can translate it into.
And then, I know it was a compressed timeline, and I appreciate how hard you guys have worked to do this. Were you able to get some student and parent or
No,
guardian input?
but I do have a student who's on deck, and we are hopefully doing some introductory training again on Friday with our staff to come in, because we want to give them time over the summer to play around with this, and I do have a student who has volunteered.
Okay. Okay.
So Acellus they did what with their?
Last year, on June 20th, they doubled the cost, right? So we didn't have any time to
Alright.
look at anything. This year, they did the same thing.
Doubled it again?
Yes.
And this is, how does this compare?
It is very cost-effective. We can do our PD plan, we can add on the intervention curriculum. It's very reasonable. And I think the driving force with all of this is it's much more rigorous.
Okay.
And that is what our teachers were striving for.
I like that you were able to reach out to some other districts and hear what they had to say, so you could get some kind of real life experience out
Absolutely.
there. That's great.
Yes.
And how old is this, this program? Like it?
Oh, at least
long is-
23 years, 25, 28. It's just,
Oh.
it's a very solid corporation.
Okay.
It's not, the other one that we looked at was really a fledgling, AI-driven one. And again, looked really fun, but didn't have the backing.
Corinda, did I hear you? Had a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I know you guys had to do this really quickly. And, I wish that we could have had some testing with kids, but I also think like having something that is offering that more rigorous as well as being able to put in the interventions will be really helpful. I think that was one of the things that most people didn't love about Acellus too. So thank you for doing all that work.
You're welcome.
Okay. Nobody has any other questions, I would take a motion.
I move to approve the adoption of Edmentum for HROA with total expenditures not to exceed $55,000.
I can second it.
Okay, so that was a motion by Dave, a second by Brandy. Any more questions? All right, hearing none. Corinda, we'll start with you.
Aye.
Jesse? Aye. Brandy?
Aye.
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 And the chair votes aye. Thanks very much, Ann.
Thank you very
Appreciate it.
much.
Feel better.
You too.
What, me? I'm fine. Rich, I keep forgetting your name.
That's why you're laughing.
All right, we are going to move on to the strategic plan. Stephanie Hoppy is going to come up and present to us. With help from Mr. Newton.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right. Well, good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. So Steph Hoppy and I are going to share with you, along with members of our cabinet team tonight, are going to walk you through our new 2026, 2031 strategic plan. This plan represents a lot of collaboration. It represents a lot of reflection over the course of this school year and a lot of strategic design. And I would say, reflecting on our vision, excellence, every student, every day, that was our guiding light when we were thinking about these goals, these objectives, and actions. And so we're just gonna walk you through. Start with the steps that we took to develop this plan and the timeline. We're going to share with you our revised core values. We're going to propose strategic goals and objectives, which you have heard already in a previous school board meeting, but we're now going to be speaking to the actions in order to be able to meet those objectives and goals. We're going to discuss next steps, and we're going to ask for your input at the end of this slide deck by asking you 3 questions in order to be able to get more input from you.
So before going into the proposed plan tonight, we wanted to share this diagram again. We shared it in March with you all. And it's important for us to share this because this is really what was behind the roadmap. It was what we ultimately chose to include in the plan sits at the intersection of these 3 critical components. So as you can see up there, that's community input, research and best practice, and resources and capacity. So by balancing these 3 components, we've created a framework that is both reflective of our community and grounded in operational reality. So this has been, I would say, a steady, structured journey spanning the whole school year. We began this past fall, designing our steering process. We actually worked with a colleague, a retired Columbia Gorge Community College faculty member, Bill Noonan. He helped with our current plan, the development of our current plan. So we looked at how we developed that plan and thought, like, how would we have done it differently and better this time around? And so we took some of that, those things that we learned and applied it here. So as you can see, here's a 4-phase approach. Late fall was dedicated to listing, running community forums, and conducting surveys. And then over the winter, we synthesized that data and information to build the rough drafts. And then finally, we shared with you in March a draft plan, and then I'll share a little bit more about our next steps from that point. So here again, we shared this in March, so I'm not going to go too in depth with each of these steps, but just wanted to point out again that we had a strategic plan development committee that included elementary and secondary administrators, school board members, and then our cabinet team. And this group was really just, again, kind of supporting the process, making sure that we had checkpoints We're collecting the information, looking at, research, and then from there, kind of going through each of those steps. When we presented to you all in March, you reviewed and gave support for the long-term goals and objectives. And so with that support, our next step was to figure out exactly those practical actions to meet those goals and objectives. So to do that, we launched another round of data gathering. We looked at our biannual district-wide upbeat survey for that's our staff climate data. We also conducted our biannual core values survey. We included an additional section there that gathered more information from staff, students, parents, and community members about what they felt was important, what were, from their point of view, what were important actions to meet those objectives, kind of tailored to those specific groups. And then from there, we took all that information, brought it back to our principals, and they worked again with small groups of staff at their schools to look at that information, look at some specific objectives in our draft plan, and start brainstorming and outlining how could the district support us. And I wanted to highlight that is this plan really focuses on what district level support and services we can provide across our whole school system. And so that was the kind of support we were looking, or that was the kind of feedback we were looking for from our school groups as they looked at that data. So again, along the way, we had checkpoints with our committee, make sure we are staying on track. We also followed up again with our community partners that provided feedback in the fall. So they once again provided information this spring. We asked them how could they plug in their own unique programs and service resources to our school district planning, as well as any ideas they had. Many of those people in our community partner group are parents or grandparents. They're connected in multiple ways to us. So we were happy to have their support for a second time this year with this process. And so the final draft that you see before you tonight is, again, just a continuation of that work we've done this year. It's really built from the community, for the community, and we're excited to both at the district level support our schools in this way, and also we'll talk a little bit later about how our schools, as they go through their continuous improvement planning process, will kind of support the plan and be in alignment with this plan in their unique communities.
Okay, and we've shared this with you before. So on the left, there is our current core values for our current strategic plan. In the middle is the core values that our state actually has. And then to the right is what we are proposing for our new core values for our new strategic plan. And so these 5 core values, the first one continues to focus on student learning and growth with an equity mindset. We're going to continue to prioritize supportive and safe environment. We're going to continue to build on our strong community and family partnerships. And then we are going to ensure that we are good stewards of our resources, and then really have an intentional focus on our commitment to support our staff. Okay. All right. So we're going to spend some time going through our core values, strategic goals, objectives, and action items with the support of our directors. But before we do, I want to say a couple of things, and that has to do with the fact that our core values are firmly established. We want to look at how they translate directly into our strategic goals, our objectives, and action items. As we look back at the data from our listening sessions across from all of our communities, from Cascade Locks to Hood River to Odell to Parkdale, we asked our students, families, and our teachers what they want for our students and what our students need to succeed. While each group brought their unique perspectives, what stood out was an agreement on a few foundational areas. This strategic plan is built upon those shared interests. So the first one is a shared interest in real-world readiness. Our community is united on what our graduates need to be successful. Our students explicitly ask for practical, real-world skills like financial literacy. Our parents and educators echoed this, asking the district to reinforce and support foundational habits like perseverance, resilience, and personal confidence during the school day, balanced with a strong communication and critical thinking skills. The second one is a shared commitment to a healthy learning environment. We heard a mutual desire to support student well-being, particularly by finding a healthy balance with technology. We listened to our families' desires for digital citizenship and instructional practices that protect face-to-face social development. At the exact same time, our teachers requested a similar focus, asking the district to streamline our educational tools and initiatives to minimize distractions and to maximize high-quality instructional time. And then the third was a shared connection through strong partnerships. Our parents explicitly are asking for clear, accessible tools to be active partners in their child's learning. So when we look at the goals and actions we are presenting tonight, you will see we took the areas where our students, families, and educators found common ground, and we turned them into our roadmap. This roadmap is our collective promise to support the shared goals of our community. So now we're going to turn it over. We're going to start with equitable student learning and growth with Amy McConnell.
Okay, so under the core value, equitable student learning and growth, we have the goal to prepare every student for success in their chosen path through equitable access to quality learning. So we have our objectives. Would you want me to wait?
Can't hear you.
Sorry. I wondered if that would be a thing. Okay. So under the first objective, high expectation instruction, raise academic standards by setting high expectations for all students and strengthening teaching practices. Some common themes throughout those actions include district-wide alignment, data-driven professional learning, equity and access, writing and language development, and then AVID expansion. And then through future-ready pathways, we're going to expand and connect career, college, and technical programs across our school district. Again, some key themes there. K-12 CTE alignment, staffing and capacity building, and then that vertical alignment with career exploration. Then we have responsive multi-tiered supports, combine and strengthen support systems across our schools, our school district to provide students with timely, targeted support. Themes under that area: systems alignment, targeted student support, professional learning and capacity building, special education and compliance, and then the data and infrastructure. And then systematic quality and compliance, improve programs and systems to ensure consistent student support to meet those legal standards. So themes there, it's really under our synergy implementation and then some other tech work that we're doing. So technology systems implementation, again, training and capacity building, digital learning integration, and then with clarity with technology use, AI, and digital citizenship. If you can go to the next slide. So then I just grabbed an example of an action under each objective. So deliver targeted training and ongoing classroom support to staff to ensure everyone uses the same district writing focus and assessment system. Create clear rules for hiring CTE teachers, including how they are welcomed, trained, and licensed. Create a comprehensive K-12 mathematics guide that outlines clear rules and steps for student intervention levels and advanced math paths. Deliver targeted synergy software training to specific employee groups, including student support services, secondary counselors, and principals.
I was going to add, thank you, Amy, for starting us off. Board members, and if anybody's listening right now, in the board packet, there's all of the actions. There are many. What we've done is focus on the first year or two, and then a lot of this is as we kind of proceed with some of these actions based on what we find, we'll adjust where needed. But just want to make sure everybody knows that we're just going to share a few in each area, and if you want to look at the full list of actions, to refer to the board packet.
I'll also add that, so our cabinet team is going to have a retreat in a couple of weeks, and during that time, we're gonna spend some time taking a look at those actions, because there's quite a few under each objective, and we really need to make sure that we are mindful about what we actually are able to accomplish and achieve for year one. So most likely, really taking a look at what's year one, what needs to move to year, to year two. But it takes us, it's gonna take us some time to actually process and look at that.
We're excited group. We have a
Yes.
lot in there.
Uh-huh.
I was looking at this earlier, the complete.
Yep,
It's,
A lot.
there's a lot there.
it's
That was supposed to
amazing.
be year one, Chrissy.
I know. For where we started to this, I just am really blown away. It's really amazing how you took all of, how everybody took all that information and synthesized it into something that is,
We're excited.
to my knowledge, like what we need and what can be done. Yeah, really cool.
So goal 2 is under supportive and safe learning environment, and really it states, right, uphold high standards for safe and welcoming environments that prioritize the well-being and belonging of every student. So the first objective under there is to have a unified safety communications. So the plan is to create clear and unified safety messaging systems to ensure consistent emergency and safety updates at every school. We have plenty of protocols and communication that goes out to our families, but what we really heard was these need to be more visible, that we need to be even more clarity around that, and they need to be consistent across all of our school buildings. So that is something that we're gonna strive for under there, because regardless of where our families are attending, everyone should be delivering that same content and message and be clear about how to respond to that. The second one is operation standards of care, so set and follow district-wide rules that guarantee consistent safety and building operations. So again, this will be looking at how we're setting these expectations. These are outlined in different places, but how do we know that we're holding ourselves accountable to them? So looking at ways that we can monitor and that we can identify also processes so that students have an opportunity to share, and we can better understand how they're experiencing pieces, and we can streamline that approach. The third one is seamless student transitions. So set clear standards, rules for sharing information between grades and schools, especially during major transitions. Again, just that common theme of clarity, consistency, and visibility. Regardless, again, of where kids attend, they should have that process. It's absolutely essential for our grade levels to move to the next one, next building, and for our families and students to be prepared and know what to expect when that's coming through. And then the last one is integrated behavioral health. So connecting students to behavior expectations with mental health supports and resources to improve student engagement. So that is going to really focus on how we define those supports and how we communicate what that looks like. And we align those with our behavior expectations, our discipline processes, and also how we bridge that communication with our families so they know what to expect, whether it's big scale, small scale, what situation is coming up. Again, just to deliver consistency there. And then, let's see, actions, we go. So these are, again, some examples of the action steps. We just pulled a few from there, but under that first one for unified safety communication, like an example of that is to develop a tool set that is really explicit with both our families and kids. So who do you go to for help? What does that look like in every building? What does that look like at the district level? And what type of support tools do we have to access? Another big one under there is developing common district protocols for interpretation, translation, and multilingual communication. It is absolutely essential that all our families, regardless of their linguistic background, can access and are able to have the same clarity and visibility with processes and procedures that are happening in our schools. And we do know that there are best practices when it comes to interpretation and translation, and allowing for us to have that common rollout in every building is super important and essential. The third one is action step is just conducting consistent routine climate walkthrough processes across all our buildings. That's under operations and standards of care. So again, what are the look-fors? What does it look like when our families are coming into our buildings? Are our students feeling, are they being seen? Are they feeling welcomed? It's absolutely essential to have that positive relationship and understanding from our educators and staff within the buildings. So being consistent with an accountability system and a regular monitoring process is something that can help us better understand where we are thriving and where we could use additional support and PD. And then the last one is developing family-facing resources that clarify the availability of prevention, intervention, and behavioral health services. Those are really big areas, and there's a lot of weight in strategies and resources, and sometimes there's a little bit of a disconnect or clarity needed with our families when we say things like our, secondary school counselors. What does that mean when that counselor word is in there? That means this is the level of support that we provide at school, and this is where we can bridge you out into our community, right? So really defining what that looks like and creating visibility for students to know how and who they can go to is super important. And again, that consistency with behavior expectations and kids understanding how and what is expected in schools, and then how we're going to support their behavior and or continue to expand and focus the work with them. So support a safe learner.
Thanks, Columba. So this core value, strong family and community partnerships goal, strengthen family and community partnerships to work together in support of student learning. This goal recognizes that we must strengthen our community and family partnerships, which means here, establishing a reliable two-way information exchange, modernizing our volunteer mobilization through a district-wide training plan, intentionally designing an inclusive school environment where every family feels equipped to navigate our systems, and actively aligning with local civic, nonprofit, and business partners to maximize community resources. Another thing I wanted to point out with this strategic plan is we were really careful about looking together through the whole plan and identifying where there was overlap to make sure that these objectives were really clear in an area and had a lead. And so if you actually want to go to the next slide where I share examples, this first example, which is an action under the first area, information exchange. So this is something, meet with Parent Square customer success team to review district and school data to understand how the platform's currently used, identify challenges, and find areas to improve. So this is something that our technology director and I will work on together. We'll be the leads of this area. And that's what you'll find through a lot of this plan is there's at least one or two offices who are, it's very clear that they're the owner of that. And so this area of family and community partnerships is not just my area. There's really a lot of teamwork that happens throughout this plan. Sharing some of the other examples here, create a short required volunteer orientation video that sets clear expectations, teaches basic school rules, and shows how to best help in the classroom environment without creating extra work for teachers. We all know the importance of having caring and supportive adults in our schools, and there's lots of ways to support. And so at the district level, again, we want to have a central system for applications and approval and really the orientation piece of it, while allowing the schools to have some flexibility in designing what do that menu of opportunities look like at this school versus this school. It might look a little bit different. So that's where the coordination will happen still at the schools. However, again, at the district level, we want to make sure that we provide kind of a foundation of support in that way. The third bullet, run workshops to help families navigate district systems such as Parent Square and student portals, access digital resources, and understand online privacy and safety. So this is something that we had started a few years ago with our digital literacy program with families. And It's something that we want to make really operational. We piloted it, but we haven't made it operational. So for us, this is really important. We're excited that we just received 2 grants for this. So that's good news, and it'll help us get it off the ground. But again, another example of an action that a couple of offices will work together to make this one happen, and we're really excited about it. And then finally, meet twice a year with local civic, nonprofit, and business leaders to share updates about the school district, upcoming opportunities, and ways that we can work together to support our students and our schools.
In terms of our resource stewardship, obviously, our goal is to allocate all of our district resources efficiently and transparency so that all the students have the tools and facilities they need to succeed. Our goal in this area, and if it just to give you a picture of it, is kind of the 4 legs of any table of an organization, right? It's the people, it's the assets, the buildings, things like that. It's the dollars that we have to work with. And then lastly, what's been added in the last few years for organizational theory is the systems, right? And so you see that reflected here. The people is obviously our 5th core value. So we don't necessarily talk about it here. But if you look at those other 3 legs of that table, the first is high performance data systems. This is not just, we talk about financial information a lot of times in data systems, but remember our student information system, Director Hillstead's been doing a great job implementing Synergy, but that touches more areas than the financial system. And so how we use those systems, that encompasses our data, our ability to analyze, our ability to take actions based upon that, our ability to communicate information. And so this also gives you sort of a reflection of how, in many cases, from feedback from employees, is how that helps reduce frustrations within the organization, which then affects all the other areas, which is good. We also talk about future-focused facility planning. So here we begin to dovetail in like the long-range facilities plan work that we've already begun, and then trying to tie that in to projecting forward, right? What do different enrollment scenarios, and you see that word again and again as we've done budgets the last couple of years, sustainable goals, right? Is understanding what does it take to run what we're going to run, and making sure we have the adequate resources to do that. And lastly, long-term fiscal accountability. Obviously, you're going to see PBAM changes. The state's pushing accountability. We're going to have to bring all this stuff in line. We have goals in there to try to pull all of that together. And so just so you understand sort of the forward thinking in this document is taking the very core values and aligning them with the state will help us in the long run to report only once, to be able to present the picture not only to the public, and those we're responsible to, but also to the state, because now those things are more in line and it makes it easier to see what we're doing. If we then look at some of the examples, I tried to put in here, I just couldn't help myself. I put in a couple second year 2 and year 3 goals because I wanted to just describe for you in all of this document, there are forward-looking progressive steps, right? We're building on things and we're trying not to just look at things on a one-year basis, but really build. It's kind of funny, but we're educators and we tell students to do that. We're taking our own advice. So we need to, like step 1, identify all the combined costs and parts of the strategic plan. That sounds fundamental, but I don't know how many strategic plans don't have that in there. And then everyone gets frustrated when they try to go implement something and they have no money. And so we have to look ahead. And we've begun to do that as we're doing certain software implementations. We're getting better at it, and saying, hey, maybe we need to put aside money for training, and maybe we need to put aside money for this. Then is to look and name specific categories, right, to fund future replacements. We see this when it comes budget time. How are we going to replace buses? How are we going to replace trucks? How do we replace equipment? Can we make those things, identify them? They kind of need to be first in the budget, not last in the budget. And so that'll help us make sure that we have a solid groundwork. And then obviously that ties into our capital asset plan. We've talked about that enough in terms of budgeting and long-range facilities. And so is looking ahead. You know, all of this is around looking ahead and then building into more detail. That last one I would just point out, like the long-range facilities, a lot of places it's like every 5 years, they pull out this long-range facilities process, and you go through everything, and then you throw it aside, and you don't do anything with it. We need to take that data and build, and keep building, and keep building, and keep building.
Thanks, Mark. I wanted to add one, just point out, Mark mentioned it, the resources needed. That's also something that's new to this plan. We didn't have that in the last plan, which is why, yeah, maybe there was some frustration when we got to points where like, oh, we really want to do that, but digital literacy is a great example. We unless we get a grant, that's really hard to do. And so this plan has a column where every action item lists what resources are needed, if there's going to be substitute coverage costs or whatever that is. So that'll help that work that Mark and his team will be helping us with in that area. Thank you.
Okay, so the last goal is, I like Mark's metaphor of the four-legged table. The fourth leg is our people, and it's titled Committed and Supported Staff. And the goal is to equip a diverse workforce to deliver excellent instruction and build meaningful connections with students. And the objectives are captured here, and all of our actions fall under these three simple objectives. The first one is high-yield strategic focus. This is one we heard loud and clear from our staff. We're spread too thin in terms of initiatives and projects, and we really need to focus to get good. And so that's this first objective is about that, how to really combine our efforts, focus our resources on the goals that make the most difference. The second objective is role-specific professional development. Again, this is one we heard loud and clear from staff. We really need training in areas that are useful to us on a day-to-day basis. So really, using our tools to understand what those needs are and then providing that training to staff. And then the last one, talent recruitment and retention. This is a big one for the HR department. So how do we continue to attract really high-quality staff, which I feel like we do, but we can continue to refine, and then how do we keep those staff members? Some example strategies. There are, again, a lot of strategies that are in our plan, but these are just a few of the examples. The first one relates to that strategic focus, create and carry out a 5-year district-wide professional development plan using a step-by-step rollout. So really identify not just short-term, but long-term, what's our plan, what do we need to get there, and really convey that to our staff and our community. The second one, identify the key parts of a consistent, effective onboarding process to welcome and prepare all new staff members. We have some great practices in place now, but I think we can refine that, and we're excited in the HR department and to work with our other departments to really flesh that out for all staff, licensed, classified, substitutes, administrators. And the last one, create long-range planning to establish and maintain competitive salary schedules for all employee groups. So this is something that obviously is critical to retention, and it's not something that we can just do in a bargaining season. We have to plan for it year in and year out to be ahead of the needs for our staff in terms of competitive salaries.
Yes. All right, so if the board approves this strategic plan tonight, we have a rollout plan ready to go. So I'm just going to share a little bit about the next steps. First, we would format this plan into an accessible document and make sure that it's published on the website and shared with our families and our staff. As Bill mentioned, our school district cabinet team will be meeting along with our administrative team this June, and we'll start building out our department work plans. So we'll use this to start building out those work plans for next year. I mentioned earlier that our schools, all of our schools have their continuous improvement plans. So by sharing this with our principals and our department directors, they would use these goals and objectives, again, as a framework to look toward and align with their SIPs. And then a broad kind of communication outreach. So before, we've had a summary brochure and some information cards, again, just to make sure that our community understands what our vision is and how, what our plan is to reach it. And then lastly, and we'll talk about this next, is we want to make sure that we're providing regular updates to the school board. And, we want to make sure that we're on the calendar next year to provide progress updates, answer any questions you may have, as well as take suggestions on some of the issues we may be running into or things that you've been hearing. So that outlines our next few steps.
Steph. Okay, so we're going to walk you through 3 questions here. I'm going to read through all 3, and then I'll circle back to the first one, and we'll take your responses. The first one is, does this plan accurately reflect the core values and long-term vision our community expects from Hood River County School District? The second is, as we roll out year 1 action items, what frequency and format of progress reporting would be most valuable to the board? And the third is, how can the school board best support the school district in sharing this vision with our community partners and families? So let's start with the first one. Does this plan accurately reflect the core values and long-term vision our community expects from our school district? Corinda?
Hi, I just want to say, like, this, I did get to be part of this, so I do feel like it was a really intensive process, that there was a lot of like ongoing input and really changes that were happening. And so I do feel like we are, like, this plan does accurately reflect the core values and long-term vision. I think, like any plan, it is a plan, and it'll often need to be updated as time goes, or things that won't work changed. But I do feel like it is a great next step for the next few years of our school district. So
Thank you, Corinda.
I would agree with that. I think it definitely reflects the core values and long-term vision. I think there's a lot of great goals, actions, and objectives. My only concern is there's a lot. So like you were talking about, trying to make sure that you figure out what's the first year, second year, third, so it's not too much, because I would hate to be, it's like so much out there that you can't really accomplish anything, right? So just making sure that we figure out what's each year and kind of breaking it down. But I think it's great.
Thank you, Brandy.
I would second all of that.
Yeah.
Me too.
I think you guys did a great job of actually figuring it out, what our community was expecting from us, and that includes everybody, like our staff and our kids and our community. So thank you for that.
Okay. All right, let's go to question 2. As we roll out year 1 action items, what frequency and format of progress reporting would be most valuable to the board? And if I may, I'll take you back a couple of years ago. We were doing core value reports every board meeting, and it was felt by the board as well as ourselves that that was too frequent. And so Steph and I have been having some conversations around the idea, perhaps, in the fall, we'll begin rolling out our actions, working with our staff with the implementation. But by December, our thought would be to come to the board and provide a report as far as how we are doing with that fall rollout. And then again in June, so 6 months later, doing the same. So it would be like looking at two reporting periods regarding our strategic plan. But that's just one idea, but wanted to share that and get your thoughts.
I kind of feel like it can almost be more organic than that, in that when everybody comes and reports to us, as you're talking, as Amy's talking about something with curriculum,
Accountability.
you can reference like, hey,
Leave it in.
just weave it in. And then if you feel like at some point we haven't maybe hit some, because we haven't had a report on that, maybe then taking some time. But I think, well, for me, I won't speak for everybody else, but for me, like I want to see it in action. Like I want to see you actually talking about how you're implementing it, instead of coming separately and being like, oh, we're implementing this way, it makes more sense in an actual report, so. But then be aware that we might not hit all of them, and then maybe have a little report on that.
Chris, I love that idea, and it actually makes me think, we, this past summer, so, a year ago, we were looking at all of the reports that the board received the previous year, and we were like, where are there gaps? And so this actually could be another way for us to look at, because we look through the list of reports you received over the whole year, dozens and dozens. So maybe we look at our strategic plan and find, oh, we haven't, this is a gap here. And I think it would be a great idea to maybe show it more in action, like you're saying, rather than just a summary.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Did those timeframes in December and June coincide with results of the surveys that you were putting out for staff
Yeah.
and community?
Yes.
That would be part of
Yeah.
that idea, yeah. So, yeah, we could still consider that too.
Corinne, did you have something?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind, like maybe, since we do have the board work sessions, like, I love the idea of weaving it in those reports when we are coming to us, but instead of just one thing on it, but maybe towards the end of school next year, as we kind of look at what's happened over the year one, like updating what has happened and then where we're going to go, or what didn't work, how it's going to change for year two, and kind of doing it that way, where we kind of make it, every year one of our work sessions to make sure we're on board with our strategic goals. I don't know.
Yeah, that could work too. We have, again, just kind of referring back to our current 5-year plan, our cabinet and administrative team, when we're building out our regular meeting schedules, ties agenda items to these things. So again, it's a living document, and we're on track and we're following it. And our cabinet team does a big annual review for, again, this current 5-year plan in June. So that could work well to do a school board review first, get input, questions, suggestions, and then we could take that information for that annual review. So that could work too.
All right. Let's go to the third, final one, and that is, how can the school board best support the school district in sharing this vision with our community partners and families?
I mean, I feel like most of the sharing that I do with our community is very casual conversations, when I'm at things. And so I think just making sure that, we have those touch points of, oh, we started this program and this touches this. And then when we're out in the community, we can just sort of add that into our casualness of it. Because that's, that's, we get stopped at First Friday and what's the school district doing about this? And to be able to really have heard a report on something and then be able to say, and, that kind of goes back to our blah, blah, blah. I find it very informal mostly is when I'm talking to people.
I would agree.
We also want to give you something to point to. So I think, as Steph mentioned earlier in the presentation, some of this work will involve, what do we want to say, publicizing and, creating some brochures, building this out on our website so you can refer to it when people are asking about, what's our areas of focus this year or next.
Yeah. Anything else, guys?
I do want to say thank you to our community, our staff, parents, our school board. This was a lengthy process in order to be able to gather feedback and take that in order to be able to build this out. I really appreciate the work of our admin, our directors. Steph mentioned Bill Noonan, who helped us with the previous strategic plan and was willing to support us again with this one. But I also really want to highlight Steph Hoppy. She's our communications director. And I don't think if you were to look under communications director job description that, facilitating and helping to develop the strategic plan would be one of those. But Steph, we're fortunate that she wears many hats and did a tremendous job of guiding and facilitating this process the entire school year. I just want to recognize Steph for all of that work, so.
She didn't just facilitate, she helped us write our actions.
Yeah.
And she understands the system. She sits and listens to the conversations at cabinet, and so I feel like she has a good grasp on.
Yeah. And a lot of school districts, they'll contract out, in order to be able to do this work. And we were fortunate to be able to have someone on staff that can do that for us. So, thank you, staff.
It was an awesome process to be part of. And this document is so impressive to me, especially with the addition of, you said it so well, you have great plans, but they cost money. And so to actually put a dollar figure with something so that we can actually do it is everything. Because you could dream anything, but if you don't have the funds to actually implement that dream, it doesn't come true. So I'm blown away by this. I really am. And being a little bit of a part of the process, I'm amazed that you went from point A to, everybody did, to Z. It's awesome.
This is one of those really fun projects,
Yeah.
because you're dreaming big, and it involves so many people, so.
But it's realistic.
for your help.
It's really cool. Yeah, thank you for all of your work to everybody. I know it was a team lift.
Yep.
And thanks for shepherding that. Okay, if there are no other questions,
I can make a motion.
yeah,
if not.
let's do it.
I move to approve the goals and objectives of the 2026 through 2031 strategic plan as presented.
I second.
Okay, so motion by Brandy and second by Jesse. Any further comments, questions? All right, Corinda, we'll start with you.
Aye.
Jesse?
Aye.
Brandy? Rich?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Thanks again. That's fantastic. Really impressed with that. All right, we are going to move on to, yay, our adoption of the 26-27 budget. Mark DeMoss.
Yes, Chair and members of the board, we have had a spirited and lively budget process this year. And I guess in keeping with our writing emphasis, if the Budget Committee meeting is the climax, perhaps this is just the denouement. And so this is the resolution to approve the 26-27 budget. The format of that resolution is the same as in prior years, where we are making appropriations for the various funds, dividing them up by the various major functions. And yes, it sometimes comes as a shock when you realize we have a $100 million budget. We have the resolution to impose the tax, which was also approved by the Budget Committee, and then categorizing the tax between the permanent rate, the local option levy, and our general obligation debt service. The copy of the approved budget for the Budget Committee is attached as a document, but I'm not going to review all those pages again.
Any questions for Mark? Or comments?
No questions, but I would just say, Mark, I think you did a really good job with the budget. I mean, it was really thorough. You did a very good job of explaining everything. It's been one of the best jobs, I would say, going through the budget this year since I've been on the board. So thank you.
Agree.
And it will be exciting to watch the strategic plan dovetail into the budget
Yeah.
process in future years. So.
That is exciting. All right, if there's nothing else, I would take a motion.
I move to adopt resolution 25-26/07, adopting the fiscal year 2026-2027 budget, making appropriations, imposing the tax, and categorizing the tax.
I can second it.
Okay, so that's a motion by Dave and a second by Brandy. Any other questions, comments? The only thing I would say that, if people are watching, and this seems very performative, it's really not. This is an entire year, and this is the culmination of that. So it really was a process that I think that you all should be very proud of, because it really was encompassing of a lot of things. So we are now at the end point, and that's why it seems so simple, because of all the work that was put into it. So thank you so much. Okay, Corinda, we'll start with you.
Aye.
Jesse? Aye. Brandy?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, so that passes unanimously. Thank you so much. Okay, we are going to now then just hop on down to approve the construction excise tax, and that's also with Mark.
Yes, we approve these limits. They're indexed to the state every year. This generates, depending on the year, anywhere from 90 to 120,000 in revenue that we use for basically capital projects, planning, et cetera. And it's contained in our capital projects fund. The index amounts that's here is the same format, the same resolution that we do in prior years. The state provides us with the maximum rates, and that's what's reflected in here.
All right, any questions for Mark? All right, hearing none, I would take a motion.
I move to approve the resolution 25-26/08 construction excise tax limit.
I'll second.
Okay, so motion by Rich and a second by Dave. Any questions or comments? Prior to vote? All right, hearing none, Corinda?
Aye.
Jesse? Aye. Brandy?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, so that passes unanimously. Thank you so much, Mark. Really appreciate your work this year. All right, and we are going to move on to our school year calendar update and bring Gus forward again.
All right.
So 26-27 calendar, this is the K-8 version, but the update is reflected on both this one and our 9-12 calendar. As you know, a school calendar has many, many details, and this one was seen by many, many people, but there was one small detail that wasn't seen until someone in the HR office, Leslie McMorrin, who has many superpowers, and one of them is seeing details. She noticed that June 18th of 2027 is the day that we recognize Juneteenth. And on our former calendar, that was just, it wasn't reflected in that way. And so for our year-round employees, that is a holiday. They don't work on that day. And so what you'll see here, our school calendar reflects that that will be a non-contract or a non-work day. It doesn't really impact us if we don't have more than 3 snow days. Our last day of school is the 17th. The teacher workday is on the 21st, so that's one where they can do that grading work from home. But we won't have school if we end up extending the school year on that 18th, and then you can also see that it adjusts the ECM days to a day later, being the 22nd and the 23rd now. Any questions about that?
I know, Gus, I just want to say thank you. I know this was a difficult year to do the calendar, just with trying to work in some more professional development for our staff. So thanks to you and to both of our representatives too for really working to make that happen. Appreciate that very much. Yep. Any questions or comments? Okay. We'll take a motion.
I move to adopt the update to the 2026-2027 calendar as proposed.
I second.
Was that Jesse?
Yep.
Okay. My ears are getting clogged up and I can't hear you anymore. All right. Motion by Dave and second by Jesse. Any questions or comments? All right, hearing none, I'll go to you, Corinda.
Aye.
Jesse?
Aye.
Brandy?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Thanks so much, Gus. That passes unanimously. Okay, we are moving on then to our generous donation for this period. We're going to thank Ryan Duthman for donating $1,000 to Hood River Middle School. Kelly and Dave Dittmer donated $4,173.13 to Parkdale Elementary in one more in a long line of donations from that family. Hood River Martial Arts donated $300 to Hood River Middle School. Cardinal IG donated $2,000 to Hood River Middle School. Ellen Wild donated $100 to Hood River Middle School. And the Whiskey Flats Tavern donated $250 to Cascade Locks Elementary. So we just, again, thank our communities for being so very generous with our schools and really supporting our students in these endeavors that are often outside of the school day. And next time we can talk about all of the donations that are going to come in for our solar car from everyone out there listening. But again, thank you so much for these very kind donations, and I will take a motion.
I move to accept the generous donations as presented.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Rich, second by Brandy. Any comments or questions? All right, hearing none, I'll go to you, Corinda.
Aye.
Jesse?
Aye.
And Brandy?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Dave? And the chair votes aye. All right, fantastic, you guys. Thank you so much. That was a long meeting, but a lot of really, really good stuff and some fun and exciting things as well. So Corinda, let's start with you.
I just want to say thanks for letting me attend online tonight. It's been a great school year. There's been a lot of work done. There's some really great things that have happened, and graduation was wonderful. And watching all those kids walk across the stage always makes me tear up and feel like it's been wonderful to be a small part of the district and succeed and go on to their next steps in the future. With that, I'll end tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Corinda. Jesse?
I've like trying to prepare like 5 minutes ago of what I was gonna say, and now my mind is blank. Well, first of all, congratulations to all the graduates. That's what an exciting time. I love graduation season. It always makes me very emotional all around, and even like our preschool graduations are coming up, and even just those, like I'm always like, oh. So congratulations to all of them, and we're really excited to see where everyone's going. And I just want to thank Felipe and Rune for being our student envoys for the year, and I'm looking forward to Isa and Nixie next year. And just a huge congratulations to all the spring athletes and the speech and debate, and the chamber singers and everybody that was doing all the cool, great things and getting far in the competitions. That's really awesome. What was the last thing I wanted to talk about? Oh, and with the City of Hood River presentation, I think it's just so important for us to have those conversations with, well, I was going to say community partners, but I mean, it's literally it's our city. So we are so interconnected and interdependent. So it's good to hear that the city is having those conversations and wanting to include us in those conversations. And please provide them with feedback and go to that town hall and the survey that they had, see what comes out of that. And I guess I just want to conclude by, yes, please support the Solar Car Club. Let's get them to Texas. That is really, one of the coolest things I had ever heard about. I'm so glad they're doing it, and I hope that that's something that can continue to be a club for years to come, because that is super cool.
Thanks,
I'm gonna,
Jesse.
like repeat what you said basically, but thank you to Rune and Felipe for the student envoys, and excited for the new envoys that are coming on, and congratulations to all the graduates out there. It's an exciting time for them, and it's exciting for what their future holds. So it's very exciting. And then thanks to all the administrators, educators, and the staff for all that you do for the students all year long to make it a successful year. And then all the extracurriculars. I mean, our students are busy when we hear about the chamber choir, drama, music, speech debate, athletes. There's so many things for them to get involved in, and it's exciting to see all the things they're doing. So just congratulations to all of them. And then thank you to all of you guys and the community and everybody for all the work on the strategic plan. I know it was a big process, Steph, for leading that, but such an important process, and I think you guys have come up with a great plan. So thank you.
Thanks, Brandy.
Yep, an exciting time, end of year, and I mean, everything we heard about tonight, from athletes, and we heard about speech and debate, and, what you were saying about mean, it's just amazing how you always think what comes out of our student population and so much success around. I'm gonna do what I can to try and find some cash for solar team. Although I don't know that I'm gonna volunteer to go to Texas in July. But it's great. And I do sincerely want to thank all of our staff, like every single person, everybody sitting here, but everybody everywhere. It's the team that really makes this happen. It's what makes, helps, supports, encourages kids to do all these great things we hear about, you know, and also all the really tough, hard stories out there that we don't necessarily hear about. And, you know, it just takes a huge heart and a lot of people to try and make that go okay for everybody at least. And in a lot of cases, it goes great. So I just really appreciate that. And in the next year, you know, we've still got some headwinds coming on, but, you know, might be a bummer right now. But, you know, seriously though, you know, while there are, you know, some challenges as always with budget and everything, I mean, the strategic plan and again, the whole team we have, you really sit and feel like we've got the right team and the right plans in place to see this forward and have another great year. Thanks.
I'd like to start off by thanking all of the staff, students, and administration that got our kids through a very successful school year and an amazing graduation. It was really a pleasure to be a part of that, to be on stage and hand out 330 some odd diplomas. Kids that are well deserving of that. It was great to see the athletes honored tonight and speech and debate and all the other programs that our school district provides for kids, the opportunities today, particularly in Hood River County School District. It's just simply amazing. Thank you very much for the reports, the disproportionality report. I know a lot of effort and collaboration goes into compiling that stuff, so thanks. Reading of the board policy and the City of Hood River presentation. The housing stuff is gonna continue to be something that we're gonna have to take a hard look at so we can bring in good employees and continue to have great teachers and staff in our school district. So, thank you.
Thank you. I'm just full of a lot of gratitude tonight. I really feel like I'm very hopeful for the next couple years. You know, we really went through a hard time. COVID really kind of beat us all down. And I'm just looking at the activities and the accomplishments of our students, graduation, these kids that we have here, the kids that are doing the solar, and I just feel like we're engaging them again in really cool stuff, and they're responding and just going over expectation. And it's just really fantastic, and of course, that could never happen without the staff that we have. And I'm so excited for what we are putting forward to lead our way, because I know there are going to be more hard times, but I just feel like we are a step ahead of it, and that we are preparing ourselves to continue to offer great things to kids, and in the end, that is what matters. So I'm full of gratitude for so many things tonight, and so grateful for that all of those 337 kids walked across that stage and have maybe an outlook that is pretty bright. So thank you to you all. That was a long meeting, a lot of good information, and I hope you have a good night, and here we go. Keep on going. 9:29.